Danfo offers unparalleled, curated and bespoke tours across Africa for travelers seeking genuine cultural experiences, enriched with magnificent sights, sounds and flavors found on the continent. Each trip is reliably curated to ensure visitors are gifted with an immersive and authentic adventure. Whether you find yourself strolling along the charming white sand beaches of Sierra Leone, feasting on the mouth-watering delicious foods in Senegal, observing or partaking in various aspects of the Isheshi traditional system Ifa native to Yoruba land, Nigeria, with Danfo, you will rediscover a fulfilling sense of kinship to the true heart of the motherland, her communities. Our core values focus on integrity, quality, safety, and sustainability. We are uniquely committed to assisting with the advancement of African infrastructure and promoting African businesses, so both travelers and the communities they visit receive beneficial exchanges. At Danfo, we understand the importance of connectivity, and we have created a model which provides bespoke experiences based on your passions or hobbies. With us, expect a long-lasting spiritual bond between you and your destinations. Live, love, Danfo Africa. To learn more, visit danfo.africa.
History isn't just what happened, it's who we are. And now you can explore Africa's incredible past like never before. Introducing the new and engaging course catalog from aelearning.net, a world-class provider of interactive e-learning focused on Africa's rich and diverse history. From the rise of ancient Nubia and the power of the Mali Empire, to the architectural wonders of Egypt and the development of astrological knowledge by the Dogon people, each self-paced course brings history to life through stunning visuals, immersive video lessons, and interactive assessments. Designed for students, educators, and lifelong learners around the world, AE Learning's courses make discovering Africa's story easier, deeper, and more engaging than ever. With AE Learning, education meets flexibility. Whether you're a student, teacher, or lifelong learner, our platform gives you access to credible knowledge, rich multimedia lessons, and tools that make learning African history engaging and unforgettable. Join thousands of learners already rediscovering Africa's past and shaping its future. Visit www.aelearning.net today. Start your journey through Africa's past today, because the story of Africa is the story of us all. AE Learning, inspiration through high-quality education.
Peace, family. We are live again down at Samir Search for Huru. Thank you all. Thanks so much for joining. Hit that like button again. Please hit that like button. Also, let me scoot over a little bit. There we go. Hit that like button again. Please hit that like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. I will greatly appreciate it. Got a couple of announcements. Announcement number one, we're still rolling to Senegal, y'all. We're still rolling to Senegal. That is going to be May 9th through the 18th. May 9th through the 18th, we are rolling to Senegal. If you're interested in joining us, please visit Danfo.Africa. If you're interested in joining us, please visit Danfo.Africa. We are also going to Nigeria in August for Oshun. That's August 2nd to the 11th. Then we're rolling to Zanzibar in September. Safari Blue, September 20th to the 29th. And then we're going to Ivory Coast and Ghana in November. So again, if you're interested in joining us, please visit Danfo.Africa. If you're interested in joining us, please visit Danfo.Africa. Yeah, what we got going on? I'm reading these chats. Yeah, we gonna get to the chats here in a second. We're gonna get to the chats here in a second, y'all. We're gonna get to the chats here in a second. And guys, this is the site right here. Danfo.Africa, y'all. Go check it out. Y'all go sign up, subscribe to the mailing list. Again, please join and subscribe to the mailing list. we will again love to have you. Love to have you on one of our many excursions. Excursions. So yeah, let's jump into today's topic. Reparations. Ghana's getting into the reparations fight. You know, they're going to the UN and saying like, hey, you know, reparative justice needs to be addressed. I'm just trying to figure out from a Ghanaian's point of view, what does that look like? You know, in fact, let me pull up this news segment real quick. I mean, who gets the check? I mean, that's the question. Like, where does the money go to? So Ghana's going to um you know, going to the UN to ask for reparations, but who gets the check? I mean, that's kind of like where I'm confused. Like, who gets the money? Like, where's the money gonna go? You know, we had there was a previous president, Nana Akufo-Addo, who was saying the same thing. But in fact, let's listen to this speech by Nana at the UN.
Protect your dream home under our roof. American Family Insurance.
I'm standing in front of a public school which had just turned into refuge for children and their family who had
on anybody's conscience. But we cannot, and the world should not pretend that the present-day economic and social conditions of Africa have nothing to do with the historical injustices that have fashioned the structures of the world. It is time to acknowledge openly that much of Europe and the United States have been built from the vast wealth harvested from the sweat, tears, blood, and horrors of the transatlantic slave trade and the centuries of colonial exploitation. Maybe we should also admit that it cannot be easy to build confident and prosperous societies from nations that for centuries have their natural resources looted and their peoples traded as commodities. For centuries, the world has been unwilling and unable to confront the realities of the consequences of the slave trade. But gradually, this is changing, and it is time to bring the subject of reparations firmly to the fore. Granted, the current generations are not the ones that engaged in the slave trade, but that grand inhuman enterprise was state-sponsored and deliberate, and its benefits are clearly interwoven with the present-day economic architecture of the nations that designed and executed it. Reparations must be paid for the slave trade. No amount.
Yeah, but paid to who? I mean, this is a tough one. I mean, paid to who? Like, should the money go to Ghana? Did the money come to, you know, the diaspora that were, you know, sold? I mean, how does this work? And then, of course, there's victims on both sides. So, who gets the money? We got to be specific. Again, who gets the money? Now I understand, you know, when it comes to CARICOM, these countries over in the West, when it comes to CARICOM, you know, as far as the claim from CARICOM's in, you know, CARICOM is primarily made up of descendants of enslaved Africans. But when it comes to actual Africa in those countries, like, who gets the money? Like, what are you gonna do with the money? Who gets it? When it comes to reparations for the transatlantic slave trade, who's the UN gonna write the check out to? And you know, Black Americans were not a CARICOM country. We're in the United States of America. So I understand CARICOM as far as them wanting their claim, but when it comes to Ghana, I mean, this is a tough one. I'm gonna put the link in the chat room. Guys, links in the chat room. If you want to call in, add to the conversation. And kind of, I would just like to know more, especially from Ghana's side. Like when they're asking for, when somebody like Ado is asking for reparations. Go ahead, Passport King. Unmute yourself. Go ahead, Passport King.
Peace. Can you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Thank you for letting me up. So, man, I almost don't know where to start, but guess what? As disgusting as what Ghana's doing, and I know people are gonna flame me for saying this, but I'm gonna put it out there. These are descendants of the people that sold their fellow Africans into slavery. This is not a dispute. This is historically accurate. Now, some people are gonna say, "Oh, not every tribe in Ghana did it." Okay. Everyone in the United States did not own slaves, but a lot of people did own slaves in the United States, and slavery was the primary engine that helped build the United States to the world's largest economy. See, I know it seems like I'm jumping around, but I'm making a
No, go ahead.
illustrate in the U.S. first and then bring it back to Ghana. Yes, slavery was primarily in the South. People got this belief that it was only large Southern plantations. There were slaves in the North too. And even when slavery in the North began to phase out, when they grew all this cotton, you can't eat cotton. Where do people think cotton went to? It went to the North to be processed in industrial manufacturing places to be converted into textiles. Likewise, the banking system was interwoven into slavery, insurance, etc., etc. So that's what I mean by the entire economy of the United States was built on slavery. Now I'm going to spin it back to Ghana. Even though Ghana, as we know it today, did not exist as a country, the tribes and kingdoms that predated modern day Ghana, they existed. So the country that exists today inherited the debts of those kingdoms, and they definitely profited. So in other words, they are not victims. They are criminals in human trafficking and enterprise. At least their forefathers are. And now they're coming centuries later and trying to act like they're victims when they was willing participants. In other words, to drive the point home, one last point, I know you got to pass it on. This is like someone that say was involved in a bank robbery, but they say, well, you know what? Hey, I didn't rob the bank. I didn't shoot anyone. I only drove the getaway car. Wait a minute. Okay, you wasn't in the bank. You didn't shoot anyone, but you drove the car. You're still involved in the crime. Just because you didn't just because that person didn't pull a gun and shoot
still anyone, felony one.
Just because they didn't bust someone upside the head, they're still driving the car. They are accomplices, not accomplices after the fact. Accomplices involved with the criminal activity. I'm going to land my plane there.
That's an A1 felony.
All right, let me pass the mic to M. Go ahead, M.
Yeah, when I first read this article about 2 years ago, after the UN already passed their resolution, and I read about how Ghana wanted to get reparations, what I read was they was saying how because the slaves that they sold built the wealth of America, because they're focusing on America only. They're not really focusing on the Caribbean countries. They want to get compensated. And I thought that was ridiculous because from a business perspective, for example, say Elon Musk purchased Tesla. The previous owners are not trillionaires. They're not billionaires because they sold the business. Or the TV show Breaking Bad, the whole premise was the guy sold his company. Now he's broke and he's dying of cancer. So therefore he's trying to compensate, but he sold his company before it blew up. So even though it might be more morally incorrect or they're wicked for it, but from a business perspective, they made their deals hundreds of years ago. They can't try to come back and say double back and say they want to get paid after they already done made the transaction. So I think it's when people looking at Africa as a whole, they always get the benefit of the doubt. You know, they got the Save the Children commercials, so they're never going to be seen as nefarious. they're always going to be seen as a person in need and always in need of development and suffering. But if you look at it objectively, this is like pimpology, a pimp trying to double back because the chick that he done passed on, like a Cardi B, then elevated. Now you want to come back and get some compensation? I don't think so.
No, I pass the mic to Dre. Go ahead, Dre. Unmute yourself.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, this kind of reminds me of Haiti being forced to pay France for reparations for actually enslaving Haitians. The fact that they have the audacity to ask for reparations is a problem because, for one, they were complicit in the slave trade, and I know that they were kingdoms beforehand. But just because they were kingdoms beforehand does not mean that they shouldn't be held accountable for the slave trade that they were a part of. And then I also think that in terms of who should get it, I think that every Black person from the Western Hemisphere should get it because they didn't just only trade African people with, or just brought African people, of course, to the United States. They also brought African people to various parts of the Caribbean and Latin America. So I think they also should be compensated for that as well. And many different companies as well should be held accountable for what they did to us too. Just like the jewelry company. What's the jewelry company called? Tiffany's. Chase.
The Bears. The Bears. The
Is
Bears.
it the Bears?
It's the Bears. They was the major one in South Africa. For the longest time, they controlled the global diamond trade.
I don't think they.
Hey, God, let Dre finish before we get, go ahead, Dre.
Yeah. So as far as like all the companies that should be held accountable, even besides just Ghana as a nation, I think they also should compensate Black Americans as well as other people of the diaspora, minus the continental Africans, unless the continental Africans were affected by slavery as being the people who were enslaved or descended from those enslaved people, not the ones who were the kings and all that. Because of course, even when we talk about the slave trade in general, when they were on that boat, when they were on that ship, a lot of the elite Africans would be at the top of that ship and be taken to London to go to school or take their kids to school in London. All the other ones were pretty much just down there in bondage. So I think that what they should do is that they should redirect that money or reallocate that money towards all of the ones who were affected by it the most. Just like the Dahomey people should compensate us. Everybody from Benin, all of those places, all those coastal African places in the West and central areas should definitely, not just give us formal apologies, but definitely compensate us for what they've done to our people. I pass the mic.
Go ahead, Willie. Willie. Yeah, Willie's on his get roll. All right, go ahead, Kala.
Yeah, this argument is like, I remember one time when I was a kid, Dinas, back in the days, a nice humble family I grew up in, and a Christian family and everything. We celebrated a thing called Christmas every 25th of December, right? And for the longest time, up until I was 8 years old, I believe there was a white man floating around in a sleigh with reindeers that's going to come down our chimney and give us presents and stuff our stockings, right? So what I had a plan was, right? I said, I saw one of my brothers being naughty, and I said, something, Diane? I said, I want more presents. I want my brother's presents, right? So I wrote a letter to Santa saying, my brother Nate, he's being bad or not, But then again, when Christmas came, we all got the same presents. I was wondering, why did I wrote that letter to Santa, that Santa didn't give me double the number of presents? It's the same thing right here. What's going on with this reparations? Look, let me tell you something. I want people to just think about this for 1 minute. The Ghana government is just making a case to put it on record how the world should have been doing a long time ago. Slavery was a crime against humanity, right? Right away, Negroes who ain't like who's sitting around a tree like waiting for Santa Claus think there's some reparations check. There ain't no damn check coming. So that's not what we're arguing over. I believe Ghana using its position on the world stage to make a case about slavery and stuff like that could basically alter the global geopolitical reality of the world. Right now, we have an unfair world. You know, the trade imbalances, the technology apartheid, all these things are done deliberately. Even the way Africa is structured, it's not structured. Africa was never given a chance in the modern world, right? There's no development on the continent, nothing. There's no real nation states. Every railway is just nothing but an extraction. All the countries in Africa are extraction places for Europeans. The same system that the Europeans built 100 years ago still exists. So there's never been a thing where Europeans said, you know something, let's basically stop this madness and whatnot. Forget about all colonial interests and leave this continent alone, let it develop. But you can't do that if you basically do not say, look, you guys, the white race owes a debt to the black race. Now, if they don't pay that debt, then what's going to happen is this. What I would like to know what Ghana's moving. Ghana needs a whole entire African continent behind it. If the West says we're going to keep business as usual, then guess what? I think the Africans in every country should seize all Western property, cut off ties with the West for at least 50 years, right? And just focus on Asia, Russia, and everything else. Even if you have to suffer, you will be free in the end. And if Ghana's talking like on that level, I'm all for it. But I'm not going to be sitting here thinking about the West is just going to be like, oh, okay, let's hand everybody a check. And you sit there like we sitting like black people in America, like always do, ignorant, talking, arguing with Ghana, you know, who's supposed to be our ally. Those are our brothers over a friggin' check that you're never going to get in the first place. You know, so I yield.
All right, go ahead, Africa.
Yeah, greetings.
Yo, can you hear me, Dennis?
Yeah, we hear you now, but it's not your turn. Go ahead,
my fault.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, greetings. First of all, like, share, support, you know, and so on. Yeah, so reparation. I mean, to be honest with you, okay, fair enough. If the Ghanaian president want to get something out of it, you know, good luck. But I don't think it's going to happen because, you know, if you look at how slavery ended, you can see, you know, the chances of him getting it is very slim. Okay, you know, the UK government actually compensated the slave owners instead of the slaves from the beginning of it. So that tells you something about, you know, what they think about the slaves. Okay, if we want to get money from for reparation, if it's really serious, you should actually go after companies like, you know, like Barclays, maybe. It says like Lloyd's, you know, all these big companies that was like East India companies. You know, these are the big firms you should go for, like the Haywoods, you know, and so on, Bank of England. And
yeah, let me ask you a question. Let me ask a serious question. I don't mean to interrupt. How exactly does that look like? How do you go after them? How can you force these corporations to give you money?
Legally,
right? Okay, legally you could.
Hold on, they control the legal system.
No, Kala, let him answer the question. Kala, let him answer the question because we got people on the panel.
Yeah,
go ahead,
yeah. Legally, if you'd go for the top-notch lawyers in the world, you know, look at how the Jewish managed to have, you know, some form of reparation to start with, and you should have one of the top lobbyists in the world, you know, lobby the United Kingdom, you know, and all the countries that were involved in slavery and the United States of America. You know, this should be the step. And also, as you were saying earlier, you know, support to the African government, or the African government should stay out of it. You know, in terms of gaining anything from it, they should come in as one of the people who committed the crime also, because they're the one they were complicit in selling the slaves. They should come in and say, look, we sold these slaves to you. You know, it was wrong. You know it's wrong. So you have nowhere to hide. You know, can we talk? Can we sort something out? And also, then if the West want to argue, the people who was involved in the slavery, like the Americans, the French, you know, the Portuguese and so on, they have nowhere to hide. But also, if you have the best law firms in the world, and also you have the best lobby groups in the world with the political backing, with the votes behind it, like the guarantee vote behind it, it might work. Who knows? Because you never know. You can never say never. The Japanese were also compensated in some form of way. But I don't know if they're gonna do it in financial terms to say, well, we're gonna give you lump sum of money. Maybe they might do it in a different way to say, right, okay, we're gonna help like the African government say, right, we want to give these people a land, in Africa. Let's say, you know, um, this area in the continent, we can offer them. Can you all sit together and help us build this area and give it to them as a compensation? And also, work with this multinational corporation to develop the area so you can have some form of partnership. And I think it will only work in some form of partnership where it's a win-win situation. They will not give compensation if they think it's going to be like some kind of hostility that's going to come after them. I pass the mic. Thank you.
All right, go ahead, Bukuna Bay.
Hey, greetings, everybody. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
So, yeah, thank you for having me, Dynast. So, I'm going to give you one video, all right? It's going to talk about the slavery in the United States, and it's going to provide me ground to speak right after. Is that going to be possible? I can put the link in the chat right now.
I'm saying not right now. Just go ahead and just get to the point, or just go ahead and make your statement.
Oh, you don't want to play it. It's not that long.
How long
the video is not that long.
How long is the video?
It's about 3 minutes long.
No,
and I told you.
Beginner Bay. It's 3. Beginner Bay. We got other people on the panel. We don't have time for a 3-minute video. Then you got to go into your spill. Just go ahead.
All right, but I don't mind passing at last. Like you can pass everybody, and then I'll come at last.
Just make it, bro. Just make your point. Make your point.
Make your point, man.
Okay, it looks like you guys are already defensive. I didn't even open my mouth yet.
No. We're just saying, make your point. Just go ahead. Go ahead. The platform's yours. Go ahead.
All right. No problem. No need to feel defensive, okay? I'm here for the truth, all right? So I'm going to start by speaking about your question that you asked about. But I mean, I'll start with Ghana, okay? The thing with the slavery is that we need to understand that no country made of responsible people in their right mind are going to sell their best elements. And I'll give one example, simple example, okay? If you go to the United States and you ask, for instance, for them to sell or even like get the general of the country hired by another country, all right? The American government is going to refuse that, okay? They're keeping their general, they're keeping their intelligence, they're keeping all the smart people in their country for themselves. They're never going to give those people to any other nation. They're never going to empower any other nation by doing that. And this is exactly what happened with Ghana, not just Ghana, like the West Africa in general, okay? As far as the slavery. Because people think it's like only strong workers that were sold, right? But skilled people were sold, all right? And those skilled people were very important in developing the West, like not just even the United States. We're talking also about Europe, okay? Because inventions didn't only happen in the United States. Many inventions also happened in Europe. So when Ghana, the government of Ghana is talking about reparation, all of this is to be accounted for, all right? Now, here's another thing that I wanted to say, is that the video that I wanted to show, all right? It's a video that was going to give names, official names. And I'll give you one name here, all right? This guy after the name of William Hallison. There it is. William Hallison is among the few African Americans who owned black plantations, all right? Who enslaved black people and whose plantation was subject to the same harsh treatment as any other plantation owned by white people, all right? And I hope you guys took
that story's a lie.
I hope you guys took down his name. The video would have given you other names.
Hold on, Will. Let him talk. Go ahead. Get away.
I just want to say who he said.
The video I wanted to play was going to give you other names, all right? But there's many other names of Black Americans. I'll say his name again. His name is William Allison, all right? He was born in 1790, all right? And if you guys look him up, you will see all the everything about him. And you guys will find even more people, more Black Americans similar to himself who oppressed their own, all right? Not all of them did it, all right? Because most of them did it to protect their own, to protect their families, and to do all of that, right? But you have a number of them, all right, who contrarily oppressed their people, all right? And their plantations were subject to the same harsh realities as any other white plantation, all right?
That's
so
a lie.
The same question, I can come up with the same question in reverse, all right? Now, okay, let's say Ghana. Let's say the Ghanaian government
gets the transatlantic slave trade. We're not talking about plantations.
Yeah, but it's okay. Let's say the Ghanaian government gets the reparation, right?
Doing that with mulattoes.
I'm not done. I'm not done. By the way, the name I gave was a guy that was fully black. He wasn't mixed. So yeah, right. So let's say the Ghanaian government gets the reparation, right, and sends it to the diaspora. But so then who gets it? Does like the descendant of those black sellouts also get it? Or even the reparation from the United States that the FDA tried to get? Who gets it then? All right? Because all those sellers, all those sellouts are all blended into like Black Americans, right? And it's hard to find them at this point, all right? So the same question can be put in reverse, but on the Black American side, all right? So as long as you guys are going to come up with this dishonest approach about Africa, but then we can apply the same dishonesty on the Black American side. This is all I had to say for now. And by the way, I have.
I'm asking you a question. I'm asking you a question. What's the dishonest approach?
Okay, the dishonest approach is about ignoring everything that conditioned the situation that happened within the transatlantic. It's about like just focusing on the African side of things, right? What Africans did, and ignoring totally everything that was done before to favor that thing to happen. And this is the dishonest approach that I'm talking about. So if you guys are willing to do that, but then we can do exactly the same in the United States and totally ignore everything that happened before and go straight to those black sellouts. And go straight to those black sellouts.
What was done? What was done?
And go straight to those black enslavers.
Okay, what was done? What was done?
You get what I'm saying?
What was done before?
Okay, what was done before? As far as like I'm talking about the United States, right? Like the slaves coming from Africa being sold and like having even been enslaved before some of them being free, right? But then now they became free and then decided to enrich themselves. Not all, but like few of them, right? Few of them decided to enrich themselves, right? So yes, what they did was bad, but before that they were slaves. That's the honest way to put it, right? Right? So, but the same thing can be said about Africa. If you want to be honest on one side, be honest on the other side as well. In Africa, Africans didn't just grab their brother and start selling them, all right? They were militarily
William Allison
conquered.
isn't asking, but wait, what's the problem? Is William Allison?
I'm not done. Right, so what happened in Africa, we need to apply the same honesty, okay? What happened in Africa is that they were militarily conquered by not just one pope, but up to 3 of them in their times that militarily conquered them, right? And then that created the conditions, all right, for all the rest to take place. You can't just ignore that and go straight to the African selling his brother. You get what I'm saying? You need to consider the popes.
You need to consider the 3 popes. Now, what's your point?
So wait, I think I was next.
I don't understand your point.
I already made my point.
What's your point?
I think I was next. I wouldn't mind having a conversation with him, Dennis. I wouldn't mind.
By the way, Dennis.
So wait. Here's the problem, brother.
I didn't teach you anything new.
I still don't understand your point, McKenna.
Here's the problem with your argument.
I hear you.
Hold on.
No, I hear you.
I'm asking a question. McKenna Bay, should Ghana ask for reparations? Yes or no?
Right.
Absolutely yes. All right.
Why?
But okay, it's for all the different reasons that I highlighted, and I can even add even more reasons. Okay.
But if they're asking for reparations for the transatlantic slave trade, why would they be
Black Americans?
Why would they be asking for reparations for the transatlantic slave trade?
Okay. Firstly, you didn't hear what I said earlier, and by the way, Dynas, I know that I didn't teach you anything new because everything I told you, you already know. It's just that it doesn't suit you to bring it up.
William Ellison, I'm with you.
It doesn't suit you to bring it up. But hear this though. Hear this. Okay. The transatlantic slavery. The transatlantic slavery was the equivalent of the American government handing all their intelligence to enemies. All right. The United States would never do that.
Equivalent.
No, that's not the
equivalent. McKenna Bay, were Africans complicit in selling Africans into slavery?
Yes, the same way as Black Americans were complicit.
You go.
Where Black Americans complicit.
Next, please.
Check us out.
Yeah,
Black
go.
people were enslaved, right?
I was next.
It's really, sir. Go ahead, Willie. Go ahead, Willie.
So here's the
Black
problem,
Americans
right?
complicit.
Go ahead, Willie.
So here's the problem, Bikina, right? Like, William Ellison and his family aren't asking for reparations, right? More often than not, they got their reparations in the Reconstruction, right? So they're not, the conversation is Ghana asking for reparations. Now, for me as a Black American, right, for the people who were most egregiously harmed by this crime, right, I'm not even against Ghana going for reparations, especially when I look at who they're going for: France, Britain, mainly Belgium. I'm with it, right? But then when America gets put involved, now this will potentially affect the main people who have a grievance with this whole thing. The people who ended up the worst in this situation of transatlantic slavery. So my question to Ghana is, what you got for me, right? Because this is honestly about what you were forced to do to me, right? Now, I'm not against backing that, but it has to be a comprehensive plan that benefits me as well. If you're asking me as the Black American, right, are we going to back this in the Western conversations if it doesn't benefit us? No. So the question is, how does it benefit Black Americans? Now, I will say this. Ghana is a country that has gone out of their way, right, to let Black Americans know we recognize what happened over there. We welcome you if you choose to come home, but we're aligned with you in anything you're trying to fight for, right? Like even the Conference of Accra was where one of the first conversations about this whole reparations thing started. I'm not against supporting it, but the real question is, how does it benefit me? For those of us who are going to be the real focus of this crime, right? Like it's always going to come back to what happened in Black America in order for Ghana to sell their issue. So the question then becomes, how much do I benefit from it? I'm not against supporting it, but it's got to be something solid on paper that Black Americans can benefit from. And I will give Ghana this credit. If I could credit anyone with trying to make that effort, I see that in Ghana. I enjoyed myself in Accra. They greeted me with love, so I'm willing to support it. But it's got to be certain finite things that, all right, if we get this money, this is for the Black Americans we violated. If you're down to do that, I'm with it. But if it ain't that, as a Black American, nah, pack that up. They didn't have to deal with the lash of the master's whip. They didn't have to deal with none of that reparations. Nah, don't pay them nothing. Still haven't paid us.
All right, go ahead, Shaw.
Okay, great. Great. Greetings, everyone. We got to do our homework. Know about reparations going on in this country. The task force in California did, set a research group. They did a feasibility study. A lot of great outcomes in terms of criteria for what, people need to do in order to get
HR 40.
reparations. No, this is not HR 40. This is
I
California
mean, that's
reparations
one of the
for.
good things. That's one of the
Yeah,
good things.
but
I'm
this
agreeing with you.
goes beyond HR 40 because this is actually leading to what how much we should ask for, what the harms are done, what the criteria is going to be for the people who are going to get reparations. Now, 2001, now being part of this conversations and stuff in other places, a sister brought to the attention of the group that this effort of reparations began with a collective of Black folks from Europe, America, Caribbean, Africa, in Durban, South Africa in 2001, and so this was
Has anybody ever gotten any money yet?
that's besides what
Yes.
I'm talking about. I'm
There
trying
have
to
been
set.
reparations paid out.
Has
Yes.
Can
anybody?
you allow me to? Can you allow me to
I
finish,
know there's some
please?
people
Excuse me,
waiting for a
sir. This
check
is
in
my
the mail.
submission. Can you respect my submission? That's totally disrespectful. I'm giving some decent information
Pawn
about
self, bro.
about
I just asked a, I'm just
2001
asking a
and a
question.
collective effort that Ghana and other places were a part of in 2001 in Durban, South
And what
Africa,
we,
with
yeah,
and with regards to United Nations. So they started in Durban, South Africa, and then this moved into the United Nations, and between 2001 and now, they've been doing things at the
That's 25
UN
years.
for. They've been doing things at the United Nations. It's been a collective, not just Ghana. Now let's fast forward to today, right? Ghana's asking anybody can make a claim. Anybody can make a claim for whatever to any country, any group of
But hold,
people
hold,
can make
Sean,
a claim.
you think
Umar
you
Johnson,
think
can you allow
anybody's
me,
gonna get a
please?
check?
Can you allow me, please, sir? I'm not saying some stupid shit. I'm saying some decent information, okay? Umar Johnson says our claim should be with the United Kingdom because we weren't a country until 17, whatever it was, 76 or something. Prior to that, we were a
correct.
colony of United Kingdom, and our claim from the time that we were brought in the 1600s or whenever we first got here, all the way until we became a country, should be with the United Kingdom. Ghana can make its own claim. So our claim could be with the United Kingdom, and then after that, with the United States from
Correct.
1776 on forward. So there's more nuances to this and more information that we need to gather and put
A
into the
multiplicity of
equation
claims that could be
in
made.
order
I
in
agree.
order to really understand what's going on. Like I said, and to finish what I'm saying, I would say Africans that got here in the 1940s and 50s and 60s should make their own claim for reparations. That's a separate claim than African Americans who are making their claim
From
for
America?
reparations for the harms that they suffered during redlining and whatever, Jim Crow and all of those things. If they are individuals, they can make their individual claim. They can come together as group. So again, they shouldn't be denied their harms that they suffered if they got here in the 60s or the 70s. So that's what we're talking about.
But
I
that
don't have
wouldn't
a
be the
problem with.
claim Ghana's making,
But
though.
most of our people were affected by redlining and Jim Crow, not
Ghana,
the past.
Ghana is making the original claim, right, of the transatlantic slavery. This is way before redlining or any of that.
No,
So
I get
if
that.
we're
I get that.
if we're looking at Ghana's claim, it is directly attached to Black Americans. And yes, they probably were harmed in that crime as well, right? But then the question becomes, if these Western countries give Ghana, right, a form of reparations, what do they owe to Black America? And does Western civilization get to sidestep their wrongs by passing it off on Africa? Oh, well, go talk
That's
Yeah,
to
not
because
Ghana
their.
if they
about
That's
that.
not
pass it
our
off,
business.
all they're
That's
gonna do
not
is suck it right back because
our
Ghana is
our
a debt.
business is the claim that we make. Anybody else can make their own claim. So
No,
it's going to be up to
no.
the
It
people
is
that
our
are paying
business.
the
What
claim.
Ghana's trying to
But you
do
gotta
is
hear what I'm saying, though. What if
yeah.
the claim of Ghana is recognized and then these Western countries say, well, we paid our fault. We paid it to Ghana. Go talk to Ghana about that. I don't want to
That's your
have this
problem,
reparations
right?
conversation with a bunch of African nations.
But that's
I
your
want my money
problem.
from
That's
America.
not Ghana's problem. That's your problem, and that country's
No,
problem because the country still owes us. They owe
So
us,
how does Ghana make
money.
this claim without involving us?
I
If
don't
you're
think that the
talking,
country
Ghana
should
was a
pay
part of
Ghana.
the colony.
And if
We
they have a
owed
if they
them.
have to decide between paying Ghana reparations and us,
an
let them make
American,
their best decision. But
I get
our
what you're
claim
saying.
is our claim. And I don't think Ghana's claim is going to be strong when it comes to, specifics. Like, what exactly are they asking for with regards to what? What are exactly are we asking for as 50 million people?
So this is the thing,
Oh,
right?
no,
Like one of the good,
I got to pass somebody to say James.
real
Anyway, go ahead,
quick
say
though,
James.
Dennis,
Go ahead,
please,
say
real
James.
quick.
No, I got to pass somebody to say James. Go ahead, say James.
Hi, Dennis. Thanks for having me. Great topic, and shout out to the panelists, and shout out to my Burkina Faso brother. Hey, Dagarabi, how you doing?
Peace, brother.
And
Yeah, I'm doing good, bro. Yeah, I'm happy to hear you.
all right, me too, man. You know what? It's I believe people are just whining over something that that's not supposed to be happening. And I listen to Carla. Everybody has to chill. What Ghana's did, Ghana is opening technically the floodgate, right? For everybody that is in position to sue. If a Black American wants to sue, I think they can follow suit right after Ghana. If CARICOM want to follow up, they can do it. I don't see Ghana collecting any money on behalf of everybody because Ghana cannot speak for specifically speak for Black American and the Caribbeans. I don't
Quick
think that they
question,
can
bro.
do it. So I think they have to be part of these conversations at the UN level when it gets to that. Instead of taking a shot at Ghana, I think Ghana is doing a good thing. The idea of a country that's already leading, this thing. I think we have to respect it and go after the information and form our own decision.
But here's
Most
a quick
Africans.
question, bro.
So
Here's a quick question.
let me say this. I
Okay.
believe in Africa. I believe there are a lot of people who understand that a lot of people were victimized and they don't live in Africa. So I don't see Africa as a whole sitting there and pushing Ghana to go collect some money to come give it to them. I don't think that's the plan. So let's relax and go after the information. Black Americans are well organized here in America. They have a lot of representatives in Ghana. They can link up with the Ghana government and come up with the solid information that can be shared amongst the diaspora instead of going after. I don't want this to be FBA against Africa. I'm
I
already
got you.
saying that, and we shouldn't be going down that route because
Now
everybody.
stay
If
on
this
that.
thing, if this thing doesn't work, guess who loses? Everybody.
I agree.
Everybody.
I
So
agree.
we
So
already
hear what
want
I'm
to
saying
fight.
though.
Sure, go ahead.
I agree with you, right? But this is where it becomes problematic because
Sure.
if Ghana does receive any form,
Somebody needs to mute themselves. Their car is going off or
now
whatever it is.
let me buckle my seatbelt. Hold on 2 seconds. All right. So here's the point, right? Like
Okay.
if this does end up going through, it can be a great way for Western nations to sidestep the arguments that Black Americans, that British Americans have been making for a long time in terms of reparations. Now the argument can become, we'll take that up with Ghana. They sold y'all, right? Take that up with Western Central Africa. So this is where I see it as being problematic. And I just wanted to know what were your opinions on that?
If Ghana sidestep over what you already have accomplished
If
towards
Ghana gets
reparations.
reparations before Black Americans who have been begging for reparations, and God forbid they get reparations from America, then the conversation can become, well, we paid who we faulted. Take that up with Ghana. Now,
No.
to your hold on. Now to your point about FBA, now you'll have Black Americans saying the Africans robbed us. You get what I'm saying?
Okay, so what I can say is that if Ghana at least get, if Ghana, let's say this thing is approved, right? And I don't think you will see an African nation sit on the table discussing with America how Black Americans should be compensated. I don't think that's the argument that's being made here by African countries. That right there should be delegated to African American and the Caribbean. That should be, if let's say we sued the UK and the UK agreed that, okay, based on what you guys have,
So just to
brought
be
to
sure
us.
though, you're
No.
saying the
That's the
Ghanaian.
way I'm looking
Hold on,
at
I
it.
want to ask
That's
you a
the
question.
no. Let me at
You're
least
saying
finish.
that the Ghanaian.
Well, you asked me a question, you don't want my answer. So if the UK agreed to pay, then all the parties should be brought in. That's my understanding. Like,
All right, I
okay,
understand what you're
now
saying.
your UK want to pay. Who the money should go to? The Caribbeans. If America wants to pay, who the money should go to? Black Americans. If Brazil or whatever wants to pay, then you have the Afro-Brazilians.
But if
Africans
Ghana's
countries shouldn't
filing the
be in those.
grievance, though, they would receive the reparation.
No, I don't think that would be what Ghana. I don't think that's Ghana's intention of collecting the
that
money
is
for
exactly
everybody. That's not the plan. I don't think
No,
so.
that is
they're
the plan.
collecting the money for them.
Hold on.
Okay, you already made it.
What
You
Ghana's
already
trying to
concluded
do?
without going after the information. That's what I said.
The
Now you're
African
gonna
Union,
have
all they're
people,
trying
the
to
FBA
fix
over here,
Peacemeal.
attacking
That's what
Ghana over
Ghana is
nothing,
trying to do. All
over
they're trying to do is
lack of
separate
information.
the six
You
So
see what I'm
regions.
you
saying?
understand
So
what
we
I'm
shouldn't be
saying?
doing that.
Okay.
You know how Ghana's going to
FBA
get their
is
so-called reparations? They're going to
non-supportive.
talk about slavery in the Western Hemisphere, mainly United States. They may also include the Caribbean, and they're going to basically claim you stole our people centuries ago. This is why you should pay us. I'm telling you, that's what their whole thing is built on. You know where they got that from? Where the African Union proposed that 6-region scam BS last year. This is all what they're trying to pull. They're trying to use the transatlantic slave trade and this so-called 6-region concept they came up with of you need to pay us money because you stole our people, where Ghana is documented that the kingdom existed before present-day
That
Ghana
was
was actively,
2023, but you're right. You're right.
actively involved in the slave trade. So in other words, we come back to my original analogy. They was a part of the bank robbery. No, they wasn't in the bank. They didn't snatch the money, but they was helping to drive the getaway car, and now they're trying to act like they're the victim centuries
Right.
later.
Now
I agree.
your opinion is very personal
You're
here.
making it.
So it's very
Do you know
personal.
what? Do you know what? Do you know what? It's not going to work for African nation to ask for reparation to the British. I can guarantee you they will be just laughing at your face. Simple as
Hold
that.
on,
They will be laughing at
What
your
if it
face.
works? What if it works?
hold on. With that being said, let me play this video real quick. I'm gonna pass it to Kala. Yeah, it will be laughed in the face. Hold on, let me. Here we go. Hold on 1 second.
Oh. 3, 2, 1. And then you have those who are asking for reparations for colonialism, and they're wondering, $100 billion, $24 billion here and there, 500 million there. Some people want to be paid back, and members of the public are wondering, why are we suffering when you are, you have all of this vast wealth? Those are legitimate concerns.
Well, I think you're right about reparations in terms of if people want it, though, what they need to do is you always need to go back to the beginning of a supply chain. Where was the beginning of the supply chain? That was in Africa. And when across the entire world, when the slavery was taking place, which was the first nation in the world that abolished slavery? The first nation in the world to abolish it. It was started by William Wilberforce, was the British. In Great Britain, they abolished slavery. 2,000 naval men died on the high seas trying to stop slavery. Why? Because the African kings were rounding up their own people. They had them on cages waiting in the beaches. No one was running into Africa to get them. And I think you're totally right. If reparations need to be paid, we need to go right back to the beginning of that supply chain and say who was rounding up their own people and having them handcuffed in cages.
Okay.
That's the white argument.
And Don Lemon was a weak. Don Lemon was weak. Don Lemon was weak, and it was overpowered by the white women in America, and that was an embarrassment. We watched it, and that was an embarrassment. We didn't have the answer. That's why we said we need to have, when we people want to talk about slavery towards white people, we need to have the well prepared, person to represent us. Don Lemon, when you watch the entire video, that white lady dog walked Don Lemon up and down. You see what I'm saying? That's not how it happened. That's not how it happened.
Missing the point. You are still missing the point.
You don't even understand what we're discussing here.
I gotta read these super chats.
You're not even understanding why we're here.
I gotta read these super chats. I gotta read these super chats. Gustavo, thank you for the $5 holla. maybe William Ellison was the real FBA. He wasn't a slave. He was here before and was no slave, so that's why he became a slaver, kind of like FBA. Christopher, thank you for $2 holla, bro. They don't like Ghana. Even Diners don't like. I love Ghana. What are you talking about? Hypocrisy Finder, thank you for $1.99 holla. Muhammad speaking on behalf of the AU, not just Ghana. All right, go ahead, caller.
Dennis, can I just respond to some idiot, please? I actually 5 minutes away from the beginning of Francis Drake. Now Francis Drake is one of the British explorers.
Can we let Carla speak, man? Can we get a point?
Let me pass the mic to caller. Go ahead, caller.
Thank you, Dinus. You're not in the marketplace, you know.
Okay,
listen, I know you're jealous, but you know what?
Oh man, gosh, guys, go ahead, caller.
Okay, what the lady was saying, absolute nonsense. Because, you know something. This is the argument I always have. Every time I debate white people, I crush them all the time, right? I said, with slavery happened right after or before the European Renaissance? After. Didn't we learn anything from the Spanish Inquisition? Yes. What about Rome and slavery and stuff like that? The age of humanism and stuff like that. That happened before, say, the age of reason and enlightenment. That happened before slavery. So if you had all these things that taught you right from wrong, right? America and the Western civilization was saying, we're championing the idea of human rights and stuff like that for themselves. How do you go to a country, area of the world which you consider backwards, who don't know any better? Why would you be there partaking in slavery in the first place? If you're
hold on, caller. Did you say don't know any better and backwards? God damn, caller.
No, what I'm saying. Hold on. What I'm saying is this. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. White people always project that Africa and all these other people, the white man's burden. You heard about the white man's burden, right? This idea that white people have to bring civilization. If that's the case, then what were you doing involved in the slave trade?
That's a great point, Carla.
But you're trying to let the Africans off the
hook. So this is how
that's a great point, Carla. That was the question Don Lemon should have asked her. Why are you here in our degeneracy? Why are you there? Participating in it, and then turn it back and tell we have to go to the beginning. You were there, right in there.
If you're so civilized,
it's like somebody saying, I hate crack cocaine, but you in the trap house though. You there in the trap house.
Doesn't work like that, bro.
You're trying to let the Africans off the hook.
Nope.
You cannot let Africans off the hook. You cannot do that. I mean, I cannot. I'm not gonna. You cannot let Africans off the hook.
Africans off the hook is.
Thank you.
It's putting it in perspective. You know, Africans were victims. Africans
so
were
you
victims
admit that the African king.
No, but you cannot let the Africans sell out.
But she's trying to let them off the hook. Their own people off the hook.
I think people
also.
They're both guilty.
Africans are
both of them are guilty. That's my point.
All right, I gotta pass the mic. Good King Justice, go ahead. Good King Justice. Good King Justice, go ahead.
Carla can continue. I mean,
well, like I said, both parties are complicit.
Absolutely, nobody's protecting.
Oh, shut up! That's not what you just said, liar.
Man, Darnus, when we're done doing this, we're gonna do a show about the tribes, right? As it's happening in the Sahel right now, we're gonna see exactly who's continuing that. You know, we're talking about the past. Let's talk about the present.
I know.
Let's talk about the present. Who is enslaving Africans right now?
I got to pass the mic. We got a new panel. Go ahead, anti-moralist.
Okay, I'll try to keep it short. Hey man, listen, I'm just going to reply to that image, that video you just posted. That woman's argument, I don't really agree with, and here's the reason why. You are confusing something from where it comes from versus who created a system. She said who started supply chain. Let me give you an example. If a factory demands a resource at a massive scale and they build an infrastructure to move it and refine it and profit from it, that factory didn't find a supply chain, they created one. The same thing with slavery. Europeans created plantation economies in the Americas that required millions of workers. So they built ships, controlled ports, financed the trade, and turned it into a global industry. That's a supply chain. They created that supply chain. African groups supplying captives these kingdoms doesn't make them the creators of that supply chain or that system any more than the miners that create the global oil industry. It doesn't work like that. You don't say the Middle East started the oil supply just because the oil is there. The oil didn't become a global system until the industrial
But they
economies
will
of the
be
Americas.
liable in the crime.
Let me finish my point, bro. I know you're very excited, but I'm just gonna make my point here clear. They
I'm not
built the
excited.
refineries, shipping, finance, and the markets that were built by the people like the Americas. They created the supply chain. The same logic applies here. And when, like, for example, let's look at the Holocaust. It actually proves the opposite. Jewish people didn't start anything because they existed in Europe. Nazi Germany built the entire system. They created the laws, the camps, the transport networks, and they drove that with ideology. Okay? There were people who were
That's
Jewish who
not correct.
profited from it. You don't know history.
Brother, keep going, man. We
They
listening.
had tons
There
of
were people
assets
who.
taken from
Let
them.
me finish my
That's
point.
not correct.
You're okay. Read a history book. Anyway,
Africans don't like to take the
even
responsibility for
even
their
the
Man, you
actions.
guys are
okay.
too
Exactly. That's
excited
how
for
I
the
I
know
know
this.
you're
subject
in
matter,
the
Listen,
man.
right.
listen. This is
You
what
are too
you
excited.
have
Let
to
the brother
stop.
finish.
Those small have some
Let the brother
big
finish.
assets
See,
taken
cowards. This
from
is what
them.
this is the problem. You actually hate
One
me.
You
mic,
are
one
too
mic,
I
one
will
excited,
mic.
not
brother
forget.
Willie.
All right, guys. Listen, let Tom roll. Go ahead. Don't interrupt him.
I'm not saying that Africans they are innocent in this, but there's a difference between when she asked the question specifically who created supply chains. It's clear it's the Europeans. Even when you look at the Japanese American internment camps during the World War II, the Japanese didn't create that system, the Americans did. Okay, the same thing with slavery. African participated in it, yes, but participation under demand is not the same as actually designing the system. If you remove the European demand, you remove the infrastructure, you remove the ships, there is no Atlantic slave
But you're
trade.
liable.
That
Actually,
yes,
that's
I didn't say
false.
that.
It was
Yo, are you
slavery
like
in
you got
Africa
like
for
like what's
centuries
wrong?
before
You're not
Europeans
here.
got there.
That's the
So that's a
problem with you.
retarded
You
argument.
are
Hey,
so
hey,
emotional
man.
in this argument.
Keep going, keep going, man. Don't stop.
You're not thinking very logically, okay? They didn't start the supply chain. That's my argument. Stop being emotional. That framing is
Stop being
backward. A
emotional. It's a
supply
fact.
chain
Slavery
isn't
existed in
defined
Africa for
by whether
centuries.
No
Romans
But
one
he's
is
built
being
them.
responding to the
no
That
one
would
is
be
woman
being
to the
emotional, and
video.
I
defined by
agree
who
with what
created the
you're
demand and
saying.
builds the system.
Why? Let
I
him
So
agree
finish.
with
Let
Europeans
him
what you're
built
finish.
saying
the
that
Willie,
Western
let
economies in the
him
nations.
Americas.
finish.
And
You're
the Israelis,
interrupting him.
they built the ships, they controlled the trade routes, they financed the operation, they scaled it globally. That's a supply chain. Learn how supply chains work. African kingdoms did not create that the transatlantic system. They
If it
didn't create
wasn't
it.
for
Okay,
American education, you wouldn't know anything about a supply
they
chain.
hold responsibility, but they again are not the creators of the supply chain. So that to answer her question, if you can fucking listen, the Europeans created it. Okay. So without European demand, there is no mass export system. There is no transatlantic slave trade. Does that mean slavery would have ended? No, it doesn't mean it would have ended. But
Correct.
again, it wouldn't be
There you
a
go.
transatlantic slave trade. Learn the fucking difference.
You're
Okay,
You
that's
correct.
nailed it, brother.
You're
You nailed
correct,
no,
it.
but
no,
that
he did
still
not. I
means
haven't
Man,
said
y'all
that.
all
Africans
that
ain't got no type
waxing is
of
I
not
know it.
liable.
All
accountability.
that
I
waxing
never said that one
poetic.
Let the
lie.
mic go around.
Now
Let the
hold
mic
on,
go
real quick,
around. Guys,
real
you're
quick. He was
interrupting.
correct.
Let the
Hold
man
on,
finish
real
because
quick.
others got to speak,
All that
He
please.
Let him
was
talk.
correct
Who's
in
next?
saying
Who's
that
next?
Western
Dynas.
nations set this up.
Dynas, who's next?
That
I've been
doesn't
waiting
make
for like 50
African
minutes.
countries not
Same,
liable.
Hold on. Who
same.
has
Your point, I
the
couldn't hear you.
go ahead.
I've been waiting for 50 minutes.
Go ahead, M. Go ahead, M.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody read. I'm not saying everybody because you obviously Dinah's played the video, but the United Nations had a charter in 2024 talking to the members about the atrocity of the transatlantic slave trade, saying it's a crime against humanity, and the member states must address it. And they say all countries involved must pay. They weren't so specific towards a particular country. They say whoever was involved must pay. Ghana jumped up. I guess they was playing defense or damage control because obviously they are, liable for something.
That's
They
what it
started saying
was.
they wanted reparations because the slaves that they sold built America. That's literally what they said in
Correct.
2024. And now they finna pass a resolution declaring it a crime against humanity. I'm like, all these, we witness it in real time, all this deflection from Africans, instead of just acknowledging, because part of what the United Nations Charter said, truth and, like it was South Africa, truth and reconciliation, true information. If you don't want to acknowledge like reality, everybody knows slavery happened. We also know that slavery happened in the Sahel. We all know about the Barbary slave trade during the Muslim Empire through the Sahara Desert, where white Europeans were being sold in Africa. I'm like, this is like common knowledge. Like AI could tell you this, all of your deflecting and arguing and loud talking is not going to change facts. But Ghana, I think they're saying, okay, they're going to pay something. They're going to pay in land, blood, money. That's no getting around it. They don't have the power to veto whatever the United Nations says. So they're going to pay something. But I
They've
think they're
already
trying to get
offered
some.
free land
They're
for
trying to,
us.
but
They've
they're
offered
trying to.
us free land for African Americans,
But no, brother,
Sable,
they're
Ghana.
asking for
But I think
reparations.
they're trying to.
Hold on. What, Mike Shaw? That land is so tied up in litigation, and the chiefs are shady as hell. And I don't want free land in Ghana.
That sucks.
Thank
They'll
you,
give
Don.
it to you one day.
Go ahead, him. Go ahead, him.
But I think what Ghana is trying to do, because they know the writing is on the wall, they're going to have to pay. A lot of countries are going to have to pay, but especially Ghana, because they're like what the guy was saying, the trade, the supply chain. That's where it started.
Yep.
So they're going to have to pay a lot of money. But I think what they're trying to do, like in economics, they're going to try to get something on the back end. Like, okay, since y'all have made so much money, we need something too to try to compensate for what they're going to have to lose. Because
Bro, it gets deeper than that, bro.
But sad as it, hold on. I'm finna be done real quick. Sad as it is, American black people have more land in Israel than Africa. What did that tell you?
That's deep.
That's sad.
But thank you
I
for
wish they hadn't been there.
opportunity to talk.
Can you say that again? What'd you say?
I say black Americans has more land in Israel, a small, tiny piece of land. Israel government allocated black Americans land, which is I researched it. They say that's the biggest expat community of black Americans in the world.
Not true though, bro.
They said that's the biggest expat community in the world is in Israel. Was bombed, I think, yesterday. Africa don't even have a big population of black Americans like that, with them hundreds of millions of square miles. So that shows you what type of people we dealing with. But that's about it, though.
Well, I can say Ghana's done more than anybody else.
Who's next? Who's next? Because the mic got to go around, please.
Let me pass the mic to Africa. Go to Africa.
Okay, thank you. I mean, for Africans
and then after Africa is Dre. Go ahead, Africa.
All right, thank you, sir. I mean, for every tribe, every single tribe in West Africa, as long as, especially the major significant tribe, you have some little tribes, they're not worth mentioning. They was probably just used anyway, But all the major tribes in West Africa who are relevant and who are still relevant and who are renowned and known and who have superiority, whether it's to do warfare, whether it's to do kingdoms, whether it's to do with whatever type of relevance in the higher days of African, tribal wars or kingdoms. These were people involved in and also who have trades, trade routes. They are involved in some form of slavery, and they benefited from slavery, just like the white people did. Nobody's going to hide away from that. I'm not going to shy away from that. I'm a Fuller, very proud Fuller, but I am not proud of the history, of Fuller people involved in transatlantic slavery and trans-Sahara slavery. That is one thing I'll put my hands up and say, yeah, that was wrong. And I apologize on behalf of my ancestors. If I did to do that, I will. And any wrongdoing that comes from my people. And I think every African person who have a tiny bit of decency should do the same.
Man, whatever, man.
Yeah.
Whatever, man.
Who's that talking? Please go back to school. You're not on my level. Let me finish. Let me finish. You're laughing because I'm talking the truth. Thank you. Okay. All right. The trouble is, right? Some people are ill-educated. Like, some people are very ill-educated. We shouldn't be on the same platform and talking.
You're a joke. You're a serious joke. I apologize on behalf. What do you mean?
Let him finish. Go to Africa.
Oh God. So the Europeans also did the same thing, and I come from a country, Freetown Dynasty, well known, William Wilberforce, who came there and built a fort to stop transatlantic slavery, and we know the list of tribes who were also involved in the late transatlantic slavery. Even when the white Europeans were telling people stop slaving your own people, they were still doing it. It takes the British to come and build a fort and use the Royal Navy, the military base in West Africa and Sierra Leone, not far from my homeland, where actually my family still live. And when I go to my homeland, I actually visit there all the time. I drive around it and I spend some leisure time around there. Then, as you know, we can see how these people stop other Africans selling each other. Okay, and they're still doing it. So the Europeans, what they did is because they love each other, they stopped selling each other a long time ago before black people, and they use that to their advantage. Okay, and instead of having to pay the black people for slavery, they paid the companies that were involved in it because slavery was a long distance thing from the United Kingdom. A lot of people invested money in it because of for their pension, for investment, like what you do today, like in stock market, right? A lot of people invest in stock market, but they don't know how, how far this money is going, what it damages multinational corporations, are doing to the rest of the world via stocks. Okay, so these are the same thing that we're doing, in the past. They're still doing it in some form or way, but obviously transatlantic slavery is the most brutal thing that happened to humankind, and far away from the people who are gaining from it. And so yeah, as I said, they instead of paying reparation to the slaves, they gave it to the banks. This is how they managed to do it, and also they use their own forces to stop other Africans doing it. And Africans were just too cruel to one another. We're very highly tribalistic for no reason. We think we're better than the other tribe. We have in fact, we have no reason to feel like that, but we just have this little delusional mindset to feel like it. And we still have leaders that are selling us out. We have a Nigerian president that just came, here to the UK, who done the same thing, who actually sold out loads of Nigerians to be deported back to his country. Yeah. And and been paraded by the Queen, and interred by the King, to actually accept, millions, thousands, pardon me, I exaggerate that, thousands
We're
of
familiar, but
Nigerians.
brother, that's not the issue. Like, hear what
Yeah,
I'm
but
saying for a second.
Well, he's
yeah,
not.
but
He's
one
not
second, let me
done yet,
land.
Willie.
Yeah. So you can see the mindset. So that's why I would not trust African leaders, advocating for those sort of things for you guys. I think if there's any such thing as reparation, it should be done, via, African, the African Americans themselves who are there, in the United States and the Caribbean to do it for themselves. Don't rely on Africans to do this. The people that sold you to slavery shouldn't be the people who are actually extending their hand, to benefit from your sweat. Thank you. I pass it
All right,
back.
let me
Thank
pass the mic. Go ahead, Dre. And after Dre is Willie. Go ahead, Dre.
All right. So I think somebody on the panel brought up the fact that there were black slaveholders that existed in the United States, and trying to kind of conflate that with Africans selling other Africans on the continent. Now, and to put this into context, as far as like the reason why certain Black American people back then owned slaves was due to the fact that they were trying to protect their families. They had restrictive manumission laws. They said because Southern states made it legally difficult or impossible to free slaves, free Black people would own their own relatives legally while treating them as family. So they didn't treat them like they were just a piece of property. They treated them like they were family. Mainly so, and then of course in some cases they did do it for economic reasons, but for the most part they did it because they were trying to protect their families. So to actually try to conflate that type of thing with selling other Africans, that's kind of like comparing apples to oranges.
But that's why you brought up William Ellison. William
Well, that's one
Ellison is
person.
a
That's
man.
Brother, it's interesting to see how you brushing it so quick, right? You're like, oh, some did it for economic reasons, but we're gonna brush it real quick.
We try to do for
But Keenan Bay, you can't.
We're gonna brush it away real quick, right? And we're gonna focus on the African.
I'm not saying that none of that existed. I'm just saying.
I'm talking. The host is talking. But Keenan Bay, you can't conflate millions of slaves being sold from Africa with like maybe the 10 black slave owners. I mean,
correct.
I mean, come
He's
on.
minimizing it. He's minimizing it.
I'm not minimizing that. I'm just saying that like you can't conflate those two because
we're talking millions of Africans were sold, and you're trying to bring up a case of maybe 10.
No, he's saying that I'm minimizing it. No, but I'm not minimizing it. I'll explain what I mean. Okay, I'm not minimizing anything. Okay. All I'm trying to say is that if you were to compare the proportion of the Africans who participated compared to the entire blacks in Africa. The proportion is very comparable to the few in Black America who also did it.
The Africans, there were some African tribes like the Dahomey tribe.
Stop.
Now let him
There
cook,
was
Danny.
the Dahomey tribe that actually
He's not cooking at all.
Slave rebels
He's learning, bro.
colonial America in the
respond.
Is
USA.
it the majority of Africans who did it?
How do you
No,
explain
it's not the majority of Africans. But let's not act like it was not like it's a large.
Hold on, one mic. Bikini I've been in just about every single slave dungeon in West Africa. And again, trying to conflate, like your analogy is just so
correct.
It's flawed.
just crazy.
We're talking about 2 billion people. We're talking about 2 billion people.
It's so again, we never said, okay, I've always been clear and said not all Africans. I said I've always been clear and said some. I've been very clear about some Africans are complicit, but what you're doing, McKenna Bay, is just disingenuous.
Right.
It's just
Very
so
disingenuous.
I mean, golly, hold on. Let me pass the mic to Dre. Let me pass the mic to Dre. Yeah, I passed the rule.
You're not gonna let me rebuttal?
Well, after Invisible Man, you can rebuttal. Go ahead, Dre.
So even when you look it up on Google, they say while some black slave owners or holders were exploitative, they said a significant portion of black slave ownership was motivated by family ties rather than profit. So it wasn't based off just profit. It was, like I said, the bulk of it was family ties. Yeah, it was about freedom, about granting them freedom.
Guys, let me pack up. We got some people waiting. Go ahead, Willie. Willie, you got a minute. Go ahead,
so
Willie.
I'm gonna pack it up real quick, right? Like the reality is, yes, William Ellison was a thing. He was the common day modern Tyrone Bigsby, right? He was a sellout. He was someone that owned slaves for profit. But when you hear about Black Americans owning slaves, the overwhelming majority of that history shows these were people who brought their family members back that were classified as slave owners because they used that system to gain their family members' freedom. So it's not the same comparison. And what I think is being missed, and what I think is being missed in the conversation is it's not about Ghana paying reparations. It's about the fact that they're asking reparations. And they're asking for reparations mainly due to the transatlantic slave trade, right? So I'm gonna land here, right? Me as a Black American, if you can make it work, God bless, right? But what's in it for me? Because if you're claiming my struggle, if you're claiming that your wrongs are tied to the things that happen in America, you should be trying to rebuild me as well, right? Where it becomes problematic is if Western countries give Ghana that money, then Western countries can sidestep the fact that, no, Black Americans have been asking America for money for years, right? Now they can tell us, go see Ghana. We paid them.
Well, they want to do that anyway. If that's what they want to do, then they want to undermine you anyway. They want to do something to not be right up front and forward with
look,
you.
bro,
If they do
I try
that,
to have hope.
so
I try to have hope. What I'm saying is, in terms of what Ghana has been asking for and what they've been trying to make available to Black America, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But a lot of times, what happens in those situations is, yeah, they'll give us the land for a moment.
Hey, I have a question for you, Willie. I have a question for you, Willie. No, he was asking the question when I was talking, Dennis.
Make the question quick.
Sure. Hey, Willie, what does it prevent Black Americans to advance their own claim as we speak right now?
In terms of Ghanaians asking for reparations?
No. Do your own ways and advance your own claim. Why you can't do it now?
We are.
Let me take this one, Willie.
I gotta pass the mic. Willie, then is Invisible Man. Go ahead, Willie.
Are they United Nations level?
So no, not on the United Nations level. We've been dealing with the most wealthy.
Okay, this is where Ghana went.
Hold on, let me finish.
This is where Ghana went.
Let me finish.
Okay.
We've been dealing with the most wealthy nation on earth. I am fine with my claims being with America. I don't want my claims
to have to end up on the doorstep of Ghana, because Ghana ain't got two nickels to rub together to offer
Ghana
me
went to the
anything,
United
right?
Nations.
Hear me out. Hear me out, right? I'm saying as Black Americans, yes, we've always been asking for these things. So if you're asking what complicates Ghana asking for those things, well, if you're asking for those things and you were complicit, now you owe me as well. So
Okay.
now I
Okay.
can get pushed off to asking you for my money when I
Okay.
want my money
All
from
right, guys.
America,
Let
because
me read
America
these
got the
super chats, and I
motherfucking
pass
Hey,
the mic
Willie,
to
that
Visible Man.
one works as well. If you want to go after Ghana, that works as well. You can go after Ghana. No one is preventing you
Okay.
from doing that.
I
Okay,
don't want to go after Ghana,
guys.
bro.
I'm reading these super chats. Gustavo, thank you
My
for $2
fault.
holla.
My fault.
William Elson was FBA, so FBA was complicit. Gustavo, $2 holla, which is worth selling or being a slaver. Go ahead, Invisible Man.
See, wait.
No. I'm passing the mic. Invisible Man, go ahead.
Okay, I find the arguments of supply chains and ships and that kind of thing deflecting of responsibility. So if we want to put things in
If you
business
look at that way,
terms,
sure thing, but it's not.
if we want to put things in business terms, you as a manufacturer create goods. You need a supply chain to deliver your goods. So to say that that's like saying that the supply chain came first with nothing to deliver, and so that's highly deflective to say that the Africans were not responsible when everybody on this panel going back for a long time has heard Dinus say, has heard me say, has heard others, even other Africans say that the African kings and chiefs controlled who went in to get the goods, i.e., Black Americans, Black people in the diaspora. So the apologists and the deflecting of responsibility to me is kind of ludicrous. Now, let me and then to say that is a white perspective is also just as disingenuous. So let me and the American slaveholders, that's another argument that's disingenuous, because we're not going back to the very beginning as to how the slaves that were sold came into being. It has nothing to do with a supply chain and ships. As for the reparations are owed to Black Americans, those in the Caribbean and South America, and who are involved in the transatlantic slave trade. The reparations are owed to us who are that got traded, and it's owed by the Europeans, the Africans, and the Americans, and those businesses. Are we going to get it? I don't hold your breath. As for the argument for Ghana giving people land, I live in a developing nation right now where sometimes the electricity goes out, the infrastructure is bad sometimes, and you think that land is going to be an equivalent thing. The only thing they want to do by giving us land is to say, come on back over here and help us build. Now we're going to take advantage of your expertise, your engineering, your business acumen, your money to help us build, and we're the ones that got you out of here in the first place. Yeah. The only thing that I see in this is if Ghana were to say, for example, to Black Americans, we're going to go in here and we're going to get these reparations, and then we will pay the reparations are going to be paid first to the Black Americans. And I'm not excluding people from the Caribbean, South America. 40%. I'm just using Black Americans as an example. All right, gold, other type of things that are of value. You know, if Ghana wants to say, look, we can create partnerships and businesses, but they're going to have to repay reparations to Black Americans first, because the only thing I see that Ghanaians are trying to do, like somebody said, excuse the terms, but they're trying to pimp us again. Finally, let me say this. That was me. Finally, let me say this, that I put something in the chat yesterday that the African countries and CELAC, the Caribbean and South American countries, are having their first meetup in order to try to make some type of an allegiance, because they understand that the African controls the resources, and the Ghanaian president again was one of the speakers at the forum that took place about 3 or 4 days ago in I believe it was Colombia, that said we have to recognize and come to grips with the transatlantic slave trade. So I'll end it there just by saying that Ghana asking for reparations, not unless they tie first that the payment goes to those of us who are in the transatlantic slave trade.
Can you allow me to make
the host is talking. Good King Justice, go ahead.
Can you hear me? Man, you just skipped over me. Everybody got a second turn but me.
Good King Justice hasn't had a turn at all. Go ahead, Good King Justice.
Appreciate you. Yeah, everything everybody's saying, it's all good, except for when it comes to the Black American side, we can have all of the gripes we want and complaints, but we have no organizational body to decide anything for us. So we can complain about what Ghana doing, but let's say Ghana said we want to give land and money to African Americans. Who are they going to send it to? Who are they going to discuss that with? We are not a nation. We have no government on our own. So we need to realize that and fix that problem. And I pass the mic and keep listening.
That's true, if I may go next. That's true, but at least we have a task force that has been set up, that did a feasibility study, that came out with the badges and harms that we suffered, with criteria of how much it should be, and how much and what you have to qualify to get it, and then a agency that's supposed to be handling that for the state of California. Now that can be used for the entire country. That research can be used. It goes beyond HR 40 or whatever that is. So we have that as an example of something that is there, tangible. The work has been done.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but
now you do mean to interrupt me.
Who did the research?
A task force did it.
Who was qualified? On the task force?
Camilla Moore was one.
A think tank.
Darity, Darity was part of it.
I only asked that because Cobra did this before everybody.
Yeah, but we're not talking about Cobra when they did it. We're talking about this was done 3 years ago, and it was good. It was a good study. So now the last point I want to make is that I think Ghana, has a right to go for reparations, but not for our harms, but for the harms that were done to them by the United Kingdom, by Great Britain.
Agreed.
And now you could chalk that off. You could chalk that off to war, and they lost the war. You could chalk that, but then the white folks could argue that we were the spoils of war, and that they should pay us shit because we're the spoils of war, and they shouldn't pay us nothing because that's what happens when you win, you get the booty. So
or they could just get their own body of African Americans and then give them the money and then say we paid y'all. This is what I'm saying. We haven't agreed on who represents us to be speaking on these matters.
Tariq Nasheed is speaking on that behalf, so you gotta go to him for that.
We have states that have these committees and task force that are in different states. California is not the only one that has a task force committee. There's task force committees that are in many states right now that are organizing around reparations.
Not Tariq.
Yeah, I'm not getting.
Wait a minute. This claiming that we're spoils of war, we gotta shut that down right now. First of all, the transatlantic slave trade and slavery.
I gotta go, guys. It was a pleasure.
General, hold on. We gotta shut this down. The transatlantic slave trade has been designated a crime against humanity. Slavery, past, present, because there's still slavery in the world, is declared as a crime against humanity. So it could never be spoils of war. And when you have a crime against humanity, guess what? As long as there's survivors and descendants of that crime, there's no statute of limitations. So whether you're talking
Gaza is a crime against humanity, but if Israel's telling a story, Gaza is not a crime against humanity. There's all kinds of crimes against humanity, but who's telling the story?
Hold on. Whose turn is it speaking? Is it
honest, I want to speak and just leave and let the people speak.
Okay, Passport King. Passport King, you done? Passport King, are you
Oh
done?
yeah, yeah. The last thing I was gonna say, because they keep trying to do this "I got you" question, claiming that there's one slave owner that owns slave. Okay, you know what? Let's give them that. You had over 200 documented slave rebellions, and they all didn't fail like Nat Turner. Many were successful. You also
Facts.
had the Underground Railroad that was ran and composed by ex-slaves,
Facts.
freedmen, and white abolitionists. Where's the abolitionist that was coming from Africa to free enslaved Negroes in the United States, anywhere during those centuries from colonial America to the USA? This is why Ghana has no claim for reparations. They are not victims, they are implicit in the crime. And I'm going to land my plane there.
Yeah, Adonis, can I follow
Yeah,
suit?
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like we already in the courtroom. I don't want to sit in the courtroom here. People already know who's guilty, who's not guilty, who's supposed to pay, who's not supposed to pay. And I'm here to tell everybody good luck. File your claim, and then we shall witness exactly what you're going to get out of it. You see what I'm saying? That's the very thing that why Ghana, initiated that. The bickering, the whinery. That's why we can't get nothing. You see what I'm saying? And I'm sad to sit here and tell people we need to go after the information first and see exactly what we can do, like in the Caribbean, in America. But these people are sitting here pointing blames. Ghana already did what they're supposed to be doing. So there's nothing you can do about it. You can whine all day. You can point finger all day. Ghana already took the step. You did not at the United Nations level. You did not. The next time when I hear Donis, if you come on here, you tell Donis, Black American also went to the United Nations. I
That's
will
not
respect that.
true. That's
Before
not
that,
true.
We don't
oh
have
well,
to go
But
to
that's
the
not true
United
no, no, no,
because
no,
Nations.
no, 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 no.
a
Hold
collective
Okay,
on.
started in
Ghana,
We
Durban,
Ghana,
don't
Ghana
have.
South.
has the backing. Ghana has the backing of 54
You know when I
nations.
could go, Dennis.
Ghana
I
has the
just
backing of 54 nations in Africa. That's impressive for them.
Okay,
It's not
well,
like
the
I agree with
collective
them.
in
It's not. No, no,
2001,
no. Let
in
me finish. Let me
2001,
finish.
no, in
No, no.
2001 in Durban, South Africa, a collective of folks from all over, from the continent, Europe, black folks from all
Hold on.
over.
If I get interject, Shaw. Now you were upset about people interrupting you, man. You interrupted
Okay.
them.
Okay, Sha. Thanks for letting me know. But I'm just saying, as we speak right now, Ghana has the backing of 54 nations. I can guarantee you CARICOM is going to follow suit. So what you guys are doing here, I'm not saying you, Sha. What you guys are doing here, sitting on here pointing fingers, you know what I'm saying? And no, we watch all these fucking talking, all these meetings being taken in California, and it's being shut down. No one is listening to you. No
That's
one in
not
America.
true.
No one. So keep doing what you're doing, and when you get your reparation, we will applaud it. Thank you. Bye.
All right, so Dennis,
Yo,
here's the
Dennis,
thing, right?
go on. My bad.
There's a separate argument that's being made, right? Maybe we should piecemeal reparations, right? So if it comes to something like education, it's already documented. Plessy versus Ferguson, different other things, right? That America has wronged us. So to say we're not getting anywhere, right? That's not true. And also it shows a level of, disrespect and non-unity, right? Here's the thing. If Ghana is requesting reparations with regard to the slave trade, it has to do with transatlantic slavery. So the end result is going to be us. So the question is, are we going to roll with y'all or not? Now, if you're expecting us to support Ghana in this fight, the question then becomes, what is in it for Black Americans? If nothing is in it for us, what does it benefit us to have America pay Ghana before paying us? That's literally how simple it gets, right? We have been making progress in terms of asking for reparations. Haven't got it yet. I agree. But no one's gotten it. Africa hasn't gotten any form of reparations for the things De Beers and King Leopold did, right? Now, if Africa, the Congo wants to go against King Leopold, I support that, right? Let's attack them from every angle. But if we're not unified, then the potential becomes that we're opposed. So I'm saying, as an American, I'll never support America paying Ghana reparations if it doesn't directly affect Black people. That's how simple it gets. So it's like, are we working together or not?
If we're not working together, Ghana has no argument.
Even they shouldn't be doing that anyway, though. They shouldn't.
I'm saying,
That's not
but hear
Ghana's
what I'm
place
saying, bro.
to represent 50 million of us over here in our harms and badges.
But they're not representing us. They're representing how they were wronged, right? But if they're using us to make their argument,
that's all.
I'm with it. If they're saying 40% of this money is going to go to the Black Americans that we unfortunately sold.
Okay, let's stop there. Let's stop there. If that 40% got decided, how is it going to get to us? Through what apparatus?
We will use
However,
California.
hold on.
Use California as an
Hold on.
example. Like
Nah,
that whole
no.
thing.
We're not using.
No, I'm talking about
Yeah,
from
we
Ghana
can.
to
California.
who they gonna talk to?
They have an agency that.
Hold on. California was eminent domain. That's a directly U.S. argument. That California argument was argued over eminent domain. It wasn't
Bro,
over
reparations? What are you talking about? We have a fucking
the California reparations.
Do you know where
argument.
reparations is at in California? You obviously don't, because
The California
what has come out.
reparations argument deals with eminent domain. It deals with the U.S. government building highways through Black
Yeah,
communities.
but we're past that though. That was in the task force
No, we're
stuff.
not.
We're past that. Even at this point, this is where California is at. They have the governor and they put it on finally put it on the floor, because that was a big deal, because they didn't put it on the floor after the
Brother,
task
here's what
force
I'm
did
saying.
after the
Ghana
task force
has
did all of
nothing
their
to do with
work.
the
Wait a minute.
reparations claim you're making.
California is actually going forward with
You would
paying
agree with me,
reparations,
Ghana has nothing to do with that reparations
but they haven't
bill you're
allocated
talking
money
about.
toward reparations. And once California does this, it's going to set a precedent for the rest of the
But you would
country
agree with me,
and the
Ghana
federal
has
government.
nothing to do with that.
Is it
But
the San
I'm saying
Francisco
to the
ones where they're talking
brother's
about
saying
5
that
million?
the brother's saying we don't have any formal setups to receive or to advocate or whatever. And I'm saying that we can use California because the agency that they're actually setting up will be the agency that will take in the money and distribute the money. People will qualify through this agency, and that can be the boilerplate that can be used in statewide or nationwide.
So again, like I said, right, one of the things I focus on is the arguments we can win, right? So if we strictly focus on education and we're saying whatever we get from Ghana, America, wherever, right, we're going to put that into Black education. That remedies your problem of having nowhere to direct the money. We're saying we're directing this to our HBCUs. Any Black kid that gets accepted to a HBCU, he gets a free ride. I got a kid in college right now. That would be a big deal to Black Americans like myself. So it's not that we don't have a venue, right, to weaponize this money through. Nah, we could do it through education alone. But the argument is, if Ghana is asking for this, they're tying it to the transatlantic slave trade. Now, if I, as a Black American, are to support them, what am I getting out of this? Y'all got to
You're
cut a
not
check.
getting anything, and you don't have no way to address your gripes
Then if
because you're
that's the
not a
case, I'm not
nation. That's what I'm
supporting it.
telling you.
If that's the case, I'm not supporting it. But I'm asking
Your
my Black
comment,
brothers.
your comment and my comment, we don't represent the 50 million, 40 million Black Americans. You represent Will, I represent the good King Justice. Just like I don't agree with you talking about sending our money to HBCUs, it's going to be people in our same ethnic group that don't agree with your stance. The situation in Ghana is the same situation. We can
Right.
disagree with them all we
So
want,
here would
but
be
we
my
have
response to that,
nobody
right?
that
Adonis, can I
represents us
talk?
totally.
Hold on, real quick. Here would be my response to that. I don't care
Come
what
on,
we
man.
agree with on, right? Again, like I said earlier, I'm concerned with the arguments we can win. This is why I'm
You can't win if you don't have a body
hold on,
that represents you in total,
Let me
bro.
finish. Let me finish. This is why, just in America alone, I'm more for piecemealing reparations. If we focus on education, we can make a clear argument for where we were wronged, right? We can now use all of Nick Fuentes' points about how much we don't graduate and this, that, and the third as a part of our argument, right? That's an argument we can win.
So no, it's not. We've been making these arguments for literally decades.
Can I ask you a
never
question,
made the
King
argument
Justice?
of piecemeal
King
and
Justice, can I ask you a question, brother?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Do you think it'll be much more easier if like a
Lucas
Caribbean
Sadu.
country, yeah, if a Caribbean country asks for reparation, that's right. Do you think it's better if Caribbean country represents you and asks for reparation than an African
Hell
country?
no. Nobody should be representing Black Americans except Black Americans. What I'm
I
saying
agree.
is
Okay.
we don't have an organizational body that we've decided upon that represents us,
Right.
that we said this represents us. The Hebrews don't represent us. The NOI don't represent us. The Moors don't represent us.
But
The
here's where I'm
Aboriginals don't
challenging
represent
that.
us.
Let me ask you a
Wait,
And
question.
wait,
I
wait,
haven't
Africans don't
wait.
talked for a long
represent
time.
us.
But
I just
here's
want to
where
ask a
I'm
question.
challenging
Let me
that,
ask a
bro.
question.
Okay.
What I'm
King Justice,
saying is,
one question. So
if we
when it comes to
focus on
who
the fact that
represents
we
you,
were
like who
wrong
would you
in
recommend
the
exactly?
field of education, we have
Mm.
educational institutions that we could
Mm.
funnel that money through, right? I get your argument that no
Even
one
then,
represents
that's
us.
kind of wishy-washy too, because most of the HBCUs wasn't even started by Black people, bro. So do
That's
we have
irrelevant. It's
educational
not my
institutions?
argument. It's not my argument. I'm saying it will benefit Black kids. What I'm saying is, if we do get any form of reparations, all right, who does the money go to? Well, if we say the money will go to HBCUs to give Black American kids full rides, right? That's a benefit to my babies, mine, who are going into college. So I'd rather focus on the ways we can win the argument than the arguments that we don't have anyone representing us. If we have to have some representation and we can win through education, I'm fine letting the HBCUs represent us. 100% of zero is zero. Dig what
Yeah,
I'm
because
saying?
the last time I checked,
I get
the
where you're
last time I
going.
checked,
Will, there's a major problem for your argument. Let's say that we go for your plan. Let's say every Black U.S. slavery descendant, whether they go by DOS, Freedmen, ADOS, FBA, because Sulon, different people use different terms for whatever reason.
I'm listening.
All of our people's children, for those who have children, can't all go to HBCUs. So that's one.
fine.
Well, hold on. That's one way the plan don't work too. Let's say that we go through with that. All right. After the HBCUs, then what? They're gonna apply for jobs, right?
That's
How's
a
that
good
gonna
question.
help them?
Wait. That's a good question. So
You
after
see what
we
I'm saying?
get
That didn't
something,
fix the problem. You just
but wait,
basically
after we get something on the books for education, now it's documented. We were wronged. We won our fight. We can use that fight to fight other fights.
that's a
Land
retarded argument
ownership.
because you know why? Because
Hey,
you do it that way. Hold
I
on, you
gotta
do it
read these
that.
super chats. I gotta
If
pass
you
the
do
mic.
it that way and try
I
to
gotta
come
read these
again
super
later,
chats.
you know what they're gonna
I gotta
say?
read these super chats. I gotta
We
read these
gave
super
you
chats.
reparations
I
already.
gotta read these super chats.
Let them read the super chats.
Christopher, thank you for $2 holla. FBAs could ask for 1% of Ghana gold profits. Christopher, thank you for $5 holla. Y'all think Ghana did this out of a vacuum? Ghana has the most African Americans living in Ghana. This is not just Ghana doing it. Y'all should get behind Ghana. Cameroon Breezy Goat 903, thank you for $4.99 holla. Ghana doing what Haiti should have done 50 years. Diane is buying into FBA rhetoric. Sad. Pastor King, you ignorant, and Ghana was getting enslaved on their land. Lustofer, thank you for the holla. Y'all haven't got anywhere with asking for reparations. Ghana is having a go at it. Get behind it and stop hating. Y'all trying. Africans turn fighting. Baba G Day, Afolabi, $2 holla. Please, can I get the stream route link to join? Yes, you can. All right, go ahead, Prince.
Yeah, hello. I've joined in a bit late. Hello, everybody. I didn't even know you were talking about. I didn't even know you were talking about Ghana tonight. But the spirits are just calling me, say, "Hey, get on the dance field," and I see Ghana. So what's your problem with Ghana this time? What's happening, bro? What's happening, people? Come on,
You're not even listening. You don't even know what we're talking about.
They asking for reparations
on
specifically
behalf of
tied to the
us.
transatlantic
Right.
slave trade.
Okay, I don't.
That's
The
the
latest
topic.
I heard about a couple of hours ago was that our president will be going to America, to the UN specifically, and to be addressing the African American people. I thought he made it quite clear that he was going there to present to the UN that UN needs to recognize that slavery is a crime against humanity. That's all he's going to do. He's not going to do that on your behalf.
It's not on our behalf, man. It's
No,
a
it is on our
play.
behalf.
All right, hang on. You see, sometimes living in the West, you like to think you're the only black people that matters. But listen to me very carefully, okay? It was Africans on a slave ship, okay? Whether Africans helped out or not, it was Africans on the slave ship. And out of the 60 odd slave castles or dungeons around Africa, 41 of them are in Ghana. So our location meant that we, whether we like it or not, played a role. And as a result of that, it's important if we now have a president, okay, because Ghana didn't exist back then. Different kingdom exists. None of the countries now existed back then.
I see.
Right?
Knew it was
It's
coming with that.
important, of course, because you know that's a fact. You got to come with a
Well,
fact.
guess
when you
what?
go to
Nah,
court.
but
Ghana
listen,
inherited the
Ghana's
debts of those
reparations,
kingdoms. Ghana's
please.
Hello,
responsible.
don't interrupt me.
Bro,
Don't
it's
interrupt me.
simple. Ghana's
Don't
reparations,
Hey,
please.
guys,
hello.
let Louis speak. Let Louis speak. Go ahead, Louis.
All right, my fault.
You see the problem we have, okay? The last great leader you had, you didn't get behind him. We just buried him 2 weeks ago, Jesse Jackson. You're not selecting a new one. There are people on the African continent, at least they got leaders you can represent. If they're putting their neck out,
We love
let them do
Jesse.
their job. No, let them put their neck out, and then you can go and speak to them, blah, 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 what's going on. Because Ghana is not, a president is not going alone. He's got African Americans on the ground advising him as well. And they've asked him to do this. Africa have asked Ghana to do this. So please, we're doing our best, bro. We're
So
doing our
you've been
best.
missing the point that I've been making, right? Like, I don't have a problem with supporting Ghana in the effort. The question is, if it's based on anything outside of Ghanaian borders, right, it's going to come back, if it's the transatlantic slavery, to Black Americans. The question then
Yeah.
becomes, if Ghana gets cut the check, what are y'all on
Ghana,
record saying y'all are going
listen,
to do for Black America? That's the
right.
question.
Listen.
Nothing.
Ghana, I'm sure if you ask the leadership, will tell you they're not looking for money from anyone in particular. Okay, we got land.
No, that's what reparations is about, though.
Right. Listen, right. The white man owns us so much money he can't even pay back enough. That's why we Israelites believe when the Lord comes back, we will get reparations. The white man ain't gonna.
Oh,
white
Lord.
man,
Go ahead.
no. Listen, white man ain't gonna give you no reparations. I'm telling you now, right? He's not gonna give us reparations, but we've got to. This generation have to stand up for itself.
Who's
and
we?
Muhammad, this generation, you, me, and the people alive now.
Wait a minute, but who's
President-
old? See,
Hello,
that's the
hang
whole
on,
problem
hang
right
on,
there. Who you
hang
think
on,
is we?
hang on. Let me get my point across, dummy. You might hear learn something.
Charlie Kirk is a part of our
Okay.
generation. He ain't we.
Yeah, he's a white man. He's a white man.
He ain't
I'm
we.
not talking
Right.
to him. He's not on this
So
show.
who
He's
is
not
we?
African. The black people. Okay, you don't count yourself
Which
as
black
That's up
people?
to
Because
you.
the only people that go by black is Black Americans in the USA.
That's stupid.
And the Caribbeans. And the
That's stupid.
Caribbean.
Yeah.
Even the
And the
Caribbeans be
Caribbean.
on some BS, but it's
And
really
the
black people in the
Caribbean.
USA. So
So
who's
do
we?
we.
Caribbean, reparations.
Hello. Can we be civilized for a minute? Okay. Everybody with Afro hair coming out their scalp is a black person.
That's
All
not
right.
true.
Okay. That's true. That's 100% true. Okay. And we represent this generation. And Mahama is our president leader that we've selected in Ghana. So he's going to represent us. And if you don't like it, just speak against it. That's all.
Have you ever heard of the Moors?
I know more about the Moors than you.
So the Moors are people with 4C hair growing out their head that denounce black in every shape, form, and fashion.
No, they didn't.
Just because you're brown doesn't mean
No, they
you
didn't.
claim
So they're
black.
black. The Moors, some of the Moors are black, some of them are not. Most of them
What the Moors claim is that claiming black.
they're multi-ethnic
legally,
people.
Hello.
Hold
Do you
on.
know what where the word Moor come from? What language it comes from?
It's not what we dealing with.
Let me help you. It's Latin for black.
No, it's. I mean,
Yeah,
we
Moors
not
is
talking about that right now,
mulatto.
brother.
It's mixed,
That
like
wasn't the
mixed with
point.
brown skin.
The point is that in the average
brown
Morris
skin.
conversation,
Let me make
they
my
will
point,
tell
my
black
brother.
Americans,
Oh,
right,
God.
our flaw is claiming black. They don't claim black. So everyone is in black, as you said. That was the only point.
But it's a difference between a Moor sign symbol and a historic Moors. Them two totally different people.
Okay, I'm talking about the ancient Moors who occupied Spain and Portugal and that. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Hey, can I jump in? Then I'm going to drop off, gentlemen. So let me say this to the person who said that no black Americans or no black people in the diaspora have asked for reparations. There has been someone who created the Permanent Forum on People of African Descent that has requested reparations for everybody in the diaspora, and her name is SP Campbell Barr. She's
Campbell.
Costa
I know
Rican.
Campbell.
And
Yep.
she's Costa Rican. And so let me say this. I think, like I said before, that we're going to be holding our breath to get reparations. So I think we need to game it. In my mind, just to thinking about things now, we need to game it so that, especially Black Americans, because we know we are very sophisticated in business, all things business, that we create businesses that take, along with partnership of African countries, where we create those mining businesses, those trading interests, etc., for all of the minerals that then we know that the West needs. That way we are assured of getting the profits from those, and it kind of neutralizes America from saying, no, we're not going to do business with you, because we've got Black American interests and other Caribbean interests that are holding the reins to that, so that then we are providing those minerals to the Western interest. I think we need to game it out so that there is a partnership. And that's
strategic. I agree.
I'm going to stop there and let you guys argue.
That's been my point. I agree.
Listen,
we need to do it strategically.
The type of Black people that were building Atlanta, that famous mayor that died, that built Atlanta, those type of Black people don't no longer exist, man.
Oh, come on, man. I've said over and over, I'm from Detroit. We have people who have created businesses that are in the hundreds of millions right now.
They're not doing it in Africa, brother.
And
I said make partnerships, strategic partnerships with those people that are in New York. The Black financial people on Wall Street are highly sophisticated. The manufacturers in Detroit are highly sophisticated.
Yeah, I believe they're there, but we lack organization. That's all. I believe they're there.
That's the point. We can have all the billionaires and millionaires and professional white collar Black people we want. And so we have an organizational body that the majority of Black Americans agree on, that represent us. All of this is mute. None of this is going to go anywhere.
I disagree.
Yeah, I agree with that. Can we let somebody there speak?
I'm a member of the Boule, right? I say that all the time. That's on W.E.B. Du Bois and the Dead Homies, right? Like, everybody is not going to be involved in the restructuring. It's not a thing of everyone voting on something. It's the thing of those of us who are able to establish some level of power doing the things that benefit our people. That's
yes,
not
and
gonna
then you have
everybody.
to get the people that don't have the same amount of power as you to agree on your plan to support you.
They're gonna agree, bro. If it
The white layman that doesn't have any money, he is supported by the white aristocrat that has all the plans and the money.
Here's the irony. The biggest roadblock for reparations for Black Americans hasn't, believe it or not, this is going to sound crazy, hasn't been the Republicans. It's been the Democrats, and I know y'all hate this, or it's been the cheddars. It's been the Democrats and the cheddars. We got Black immigrants and first-generation Black Americans who made it into politics, and whenever reparations come up, they're quick to say no. Some of them would even be so bold to say no, Black Americans shouldn't get it because my people can't get it. They've been the biggest roadblocks.
Now we got Black Americans that'll say the same thing. We don't need reparations.
I have not heard Black Americans say that.
The only reason I don't agree with that, though, is when you look at something specific like HR 40, right? That did come from
Sheila Jackson Lee.
Hold on. It did come from the leftist Democratic side of things, right? You're not going to get HR 40 from the Republican side. So I'm not going to put all that smut on the Democratic name that those Blacks who are in some position there.
The Democrats are playing games.
I mean, I wouldn't disagree with that.
Yeah, HR 40 really didn't have no teeth. Let's be honest. It was calling for a study of reparations, not to give us no money, bro. No,
that's the problem, right? HR 40 at least got white America to agree. Yeah, this is a grievance that we do probably owe for. Let's just consider how we would make them whole. That's what.
Why do you say it gave white Americans the chance to agree? It's no consensus from white America on whether we getting reparations.
When they passed that Stop Asian
but
Hate
again,
bill,
like,
they didn't just make it against the law to
so Black people, right?
It was giving
I'm not
money.
looking for everyone to agree, right?
It's not about agreement.
I'm looking for
the majority of white people don't agree.
But what I'm saying is the white people that are in power were acknowledging, yes, we
No,
can
they won't.
acknowledge
Mitch McConnell said straight up, I'm not giving y'all reparations, bro.
he's
Donald
one.
Trump has never said he's giving us
But
reparations.
wait. He's one. You had people on the not only the Republican side, but you had what's the broad from the Green Party, the white broad. She was running on reparations. Then
They
you
don't
have
have
a
no
ton
power.
of people.
Jill Stein, bro.
Jill Stein.
She
Then you
don't
have a
have no
bunch of
power,
hear what
man.
I'm saying? Hear what I'm saying? Then you have a bunch of people on the Democratic side, white people, who are saying we can acknowledge this. We don't know how to make it right. Right? So
Wall
to say
Street. Do
that
you have
there's
a
no
caucus in
hear what
both
I'm
of the
saying?
parties, like the
To
Democrat
say
and the
there's no
Republican?
teeth
Do you have
in
like
the
a black
argument,
caucus?
that's not true.
No, he doesn't, and that's the problem. Africa. Will.
Okay.
This is what I'm saying,
Yeah.
Will. What's the problem with Minister Farrakhan, Umar Johnson, Tariq Nasheed, all coming together, getting in a room and saying we don't agree on shit. But what
They
we
have
need
no
to agree
political
on
power.
is that we are the ones that has the masses' attention. If
The
we form a
problem is they
governmental
don't.
body, they will listen to us.
The problem is
Right.
they don't, right? You cannot compare the following of the Democratic Party and the black community to anything Umar Johnson has.
Right.
I
I didn't just
literally
say
go
Umar
as
Johnson. I
far.
said Umar, Tariq, Minister
Hear me
Farrakhan.
out.
I'm talking
Hear
about
me out.
everybody that's black
I
that
was
has a
gonna respond to
following.
them too.
Right. I think
can we
I
get
think. Sorry, guys.
Hold on. Let me
Sorry. I
respond real
think
quick,
should.
bro.
Yeah.
From
I
the
think
Black
GD is
American
waiting.
space. Let me respond.
Man, you've been talking, bro. Come on, let us
Yeah,
speak.
yeah.
All right,
Let
I'll
me
wait.
ask.
I'll
I'm
wait.
asking.
I'll wait.
I just want to ask a basic question.
Hi, please, can I speak?
I'll be very quick, brother. I just want to ask
All
a
right.
basic
Okay.
question,
All right.
right? From
GD
where,
wait after Louis can come in.
right. From I'm speaking as a Ghanaian right now, okay? Because we don't want to upset everybody and so on, but we are representing Ghana. We are black people, whether you like it or not. Now,
No, you're not. Ghana is not black. So don't play that
what
game.
do you mean,
black,
Ghanaian,
bro. Let's just move on, man.
Yeah, don't go there. Ghana's Ghanaian, but go ahead. Make your point.
Yeah. The point is, okay, right? Ghana is going there to bring forth to the United Nations to accept that the biggest crime against humanity was this slave trade.
Correct.
That's the main thing they're going there to do.
Correct.
Okay, so I don't think you should be mad at that. I think you should get behind that.
No
We're
one's
not mad
mad
at
at
that.
the
That's a
question
fact.
is,
No one's
what are
arguing
y'all
that's a
gonna
fact.
do for those that were wronged by it? We can't allow Ghana to benefit from it when they were actually complicit in it
No,
happening.
there was not. They were victims of it. Okay, right, including those.
Oh, see,
people
now that's where you
so-
messed up.
Yes,
Ghana is
Right.
not
no,
victims. They was active participants.
They were
Okay,
victims as well.
That make these
hello,
problem.
After him,
Did
can I
it's your
speak
turn.
after him, please? After him.
Hello.
Can I
okay?
speak, please?
Hello.
Yeah, let GD come in.
No, let
Louis.
me finish.
I'm
You
over.
Okay,
are
land my
speaking-
brother.
You are speaking in 2026. Okay.
Yes.
Right. It happened from back then.
Yes.
Okay. It's not about you. It's about what's happened. That's the evidence we bring to court.
No, it is about me though.
Man, to hell with you.
Ghana's argument is even about me.
It is about
Ghana's
us, though,
argument
Louis.
is that the slave trade should be compensated for. Ghana isn't claiming that they were the real victims.
That's not what he's going to do. He's going to.
No, that's exactly what they're going to do. They're
No,
trying to
he's
run a
not.
finesse.
No, he's not.
I'm
No,
telling
no.
you.
Yeah,
Wait
it's
a minute, let's hear what he's saying. Let's hear what he's saying.
That's why you people are leaderless, because you don't.
Nah, it's a play, bro. Everybody with eyes can see it's a
No,
play.
I
Have
think
you
that's a bit
actually
harsh.
seen? Have you actually seen a
That's a bit harsh.
request?
Louis.
Have you seen a formal request of
Yeah,
reparations?
okay.
What is?
Okay,
And
is Judy
here's the bad
come
Let
now,
bro
please?
finish.
Yeah,
Let
Judy
bro
come in.
finish, because I want to speak
when
after
your
him.
when your reply to
No, but
us
Judy,
is
I haven't
that's why
spoken.
you're leaderless,
You're supposed to be
right?
dismissed, and then Jide was.
I have
Let's
been
explain to
silent
the
for
new
fucking
guy.
30
You're
minutes on
completely
this or more on the
confusing
stage, so I
us
know I get a
to
turn.
make your argument.
Jide,
When you respond that we're
Please, can I
leaderless,
speak?
Now,
right?
let
This
Shy
is
go, and
when
then Africa. Shy has been
I'm
quiet, bro.
saying when you respond that we're
Yeah.
leaderless, this is when it becomes problematic for you to make an argument about
Who's your
transatlantic
leader?
slavery.
We all
Who's your
leaderless,
leader?
bro. I'm an African American, been saying the same thing, bro. Shy, come on.
Okay,
I'm
so
not
let me
leaderless.
say this though, y'all. This is the thing for me. I think that if I think the proper protocol would have been for Ghana leadership or whatever group is working with the president with this to work with the diaspora or whatever groups that CARICOM and the reparations groups that are here in the United States, and if there's any in South America, to be working with us directly before asking for stuff that is directly related to things that we're working on. We're doing that affects us. Now, the other part about it is that Ghana, they have done more than anybody else in terms of trying to make atonement for the whole thing that happened, but they were complicit. They were involved to the degree that they were, and so that needs to be said. And because of that, it needs to be done properly.
Please, can I speak? Okay.
Yeah, those were valid
First of
points.
all,
Oh, don't interrupt the man.
Yes.
Let him finish, bro.
I haven't said anything.
Yes.
So that's it.
Yeah, go on, Jide.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Aksha.
Yeah, thank you so much. So when I first saw the title, I was like, what? So the thing is, I don't want to hate, I don't want to seem like I respect every African country. I respect every government of every African country, even though I criticize a lot of African governments so much. But I think what Ghana is doing is overdue. And I think their slogans and all this, their noise, it is getting out of hand. So let me put it this way. I'll be very careful what I want to say now. Ghana has been championing Pan-Africanism from the time of Kwame Nkrumah, which has been great, right? Kwame Nkrumah was a Pan-Africanist, an anti-imperialist, and he really wanted the liberation of African people, genuinely. Kwame Nkrumah, and Ghana seemed to be like the embodiment of Pan-Africanism, of the black race, which is wonderful, which is great. But ever since then, we've not really seen any real action particularly since the overthrow of Kwame Nkrumah. That's number one. That's the first point.
That's not true. Rollins was a Pan-Africanist. What the hell are you talking about?
Slogan. It was slogan.
President. No,
Rollins was.
You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I know what I'm talking about. You can shout all you want. You can get emotional.
Let him land, Louis.
Hold on. Let him cook.
You can get emotional all you want. I know Jerry Rollins, and he did a lot of great things, but it was not an anti-imperialist in any way. That's not let me continue. Please don't interrupt me, please. I'm getting somewhere. Now, Ghana decided, okay, they will develop an initiative, right, to repatriate Black Americans, right, back to the continent, to their country, right, which is great, right? And
it's not just Black Americans.
That's neither here nor there. Go ahead. I get your point.
Go ahead. Yeah, thank you. But what I've noticed is, yeah, that's great. That's a great initiative. Now, this one is about reparation, about they need to get reparation for slavery. Now, this is not my point. My point is, it seems like Ghana is making, the point is all African countries and African governments that were victims of the slave trade, they are all responsible for ensuring that, okay, we speak out about what happened in the transatlantic slave trade. I'm trying to be very careful what I want to say. However, what I've noticed about Ghana is all the slogan of Pan-Africanism is not a slogan. To be honest, it's a slogan. Now, the major point is, if they're going to be talking about reparation, why are they talking about
Someone need to mute.
Why are they talking about reparation for their own national interest alone? Because people talking about reparation, they're opening a can of worms.
Willie, can you mute, please, man?
They're opening a can of worms. What I mean a can of worms? Number one, Ghana was not even they were not even the major victims of the slave trade. This may sound controversial, but that's a fact.
They're not victims.
That shit gotta stop. They're not victims at all.
You gotta stop that bullshit. Excuse me, my language. They were not victims.
They were not the major victims.
Let him finish.
The majority of the slaves that were taken were from Congo. They were across West Africa. Slaves were taken, yes. But
hold on, time out. Why y'all always do this? If the Ghanaians want to blame the Congolese, y'all want to blame Nigeria.
Let him finish. Let him finish, though.
No, let him finish, brother.
Take it easy.
Let him finish.
Please. So I'm saying that the major, if you look at the record of the transatlantic slave trade history, majority of the slaves were taken from Congo, Angola, Nigeria. Over 70% of the slaves. In fact, Ghana had a lot of the slaves that were taken too, but they were probably not even up to 30%. But they're the ones making the most noise, which is great. They have the right talk about whatever is their interest. But being of their Pan-African origin, I would assume that they would use that reparations issue and they will take it as an advantage to let it cut across the victims of the slave trade and also the diaspora, the Black Americans, the Afro-Brazilians, the Asians, But what I'm saying is it seems like they have their own interest to use the slogan of we are connected to the diaspora, which is fake.
Wicked jealous Nigerian.
For their own selfish interest. Like I said earlier, every government, oh my goodness.
This is Ghana Jollof and Nigeria Jollof for here, God, please.
Every Nigerian, every African government.
Hold on, let him finish because I get what he's saying.
Every African government is that were, like I said, that were historically affected by the slave trade have the right to talk about reparation. But I think it should be a collective thing in cooperation with the African diaspora, the Black Americans. Because if they're just talking about themselves having reparations, and they are just making themselves make it seem like they are the ones that.
So now, my brother, here's where we're.
This is divisive from Ghana. It is divisive. It's not wise from them.
Here's where we're aligned, brother.
It's highly contradictory.
Here's where we're aligned, right? I agree with what you just said, but the problem is if Ghana is seeking reparations for Ghana outside of having this direct connection or argument on the behalf of the children of the diaspora, then they don't have the diaspora in argument. If anything, they would be viewed as complicit. Now, if they get this Western white money, now the argument can then become that, all right, go talk to Ghana for your reparations, right? That's where it can become problematic. So the thing is, if Ghana doesn't have,
they're being dishonest. They're basically trying to act like, okay,
I'm not going to put that on them, bro.
No. Ghana's government is being let me say the government. The Ghana president and the government is being dishonest. They're trying to act like they're fighting for truth and justice.
You're the reason why
they're
Black
trying
people
to
don't get nowhere.
leverage.
Hold on, let them talk.
Hold on. They're trying to act like they're trying to fight for truth and justice. What they're doing, I'm adding on what you're saying on Wall Street, Will. They're basically using the legacy of the transatlantic slave trade, which is the United States, Caribbean, and they're using that as
to make their argument.
Make their argument. See, Western nations, this is what you did to us. You owe us. That's basically what they're doing, and they don't want to accept it.
Now, wait. Just to all get on the same page, my Ghanaian brother, you do realize that's valid, right? Just to be on the same page.
Wait, are you saying that's what Ghana exactly put into the United Nations as a motion?
But that's what it seemed like. That's how it come across.
But I'm saying let's start out. Let's find the things we can agree on.
Okay, let's first agree on what actually Ghana is saying. They're saying they're putting a motion and a position. It's directly saying that
41% of 62 slave castles around Africa, 41% of them are in Ghana.
Correct.
That's the point. We understand that.
Secondly,
majority of the slaves are not from Ghana. That's not true.
All right, wait. Let's do this. Right? Hold on. Because I understand what my Ghanaian. Hold on.
Right.
Because I understand what my Ghanaian brother is saying. Because I understand what he's saying. Understand this though. When you make that point that all the slave castles were in Ghana, then the argument could be made that Ghana should be held to reparations.
All the slave castles are in Ghana.
No, right. It's 62.
No, but it was about the amount they.
62.
It was about the amount they have. Hold on. I understand the point the brother was making.
Right.
That just means it was complicit.
Hello. Don't be stupid.
Wait. My African brother. Hold on. 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
Oh, brother, I'm gonna lose my train of thought. Okay.
Go ahead, Louis. Right.
When you're sailing on the ship, especially in the old days, you listen. You go to Heathrow Airport. You get on a plane. 6 hours to Ghana. It's quick. Okay. If you're on a ship, you reverse it back. Wind ship. It was the direct route. Was directly. We are on the Meridian line. 0.00%. Ghana is the center of the world. So it was easier for them to get to where we were. So they brought the slaves in from all over West Africa. So they built the thing there on the seashores. That's why it's easier for them. Okay, Ghana didn't choose for that to happen. That just happened. 2, the gold was coming from there, and other trade was coming from there. The question, I know,
honestly,
Africa. Let me finish Africa. Tired of your
okay.
little jabs against Ghana as well. Okay, tell me why, if this Nigerian want to come on here and say this, and why ain't Nigeria doing it? Tell me that. Why are you
They're not doing
that.
that. They haven't done it.
That's the way you are interpreting it. That's not what. That's not
the way I'm interpreting.
I'm not trying to make it seem like it's Nigeria is left alone. What I'm saying,
I don't want to.
Ghana is making.
Ghana was asked.
What I'm saying is
Ghana was asked to do it on behalf of Africa and the Caribbeans. The Caribbean.
Yeah. I mean, if they was asked to do it, on behalf of the United States,
we need to find that out.
We need to find. Yeah, I agree with that.
How many
one mic. Louis. Yeah, Jide, 1 second.
It is Brazil,
yeah,
Ghana. Come on.
So if what Louis is saying, if that's true, then obviously that will change the whole concept of the conversation.
It would.
But that's something we need to find out. Okay?
Yeah,
but,
and it's probably part of that thing I was talking about that started in 2001. They've been doing stuff over time.
Yes.
So,
let's deal with the argument in the construct of 2026, right? We all know that there were numerous groups that were, responsible for a portion of this atrocity. The conversation now is Ghana is asking for reparations, right?
No,
for how they were dealt with.
Do we have clarity on what exactly
read the formal ask?
That's the thing. A lot
Come
of
on,
Willie, have
bro.
you actually read the formal ask?
I'm the one that brought up the Conference of Accra.
So you read it. So you read their formal ask of reparations.
Yes.
If Ghana is asking on behalf,
I'm the one, I'm the one that brought up the Conference of Accra, right? I'm trying to deal with it in a post 2020 argument. I'm not worried about going back to all the different groups that were liable. What I'm saying is in 2026, Ghana is asking Western nations for reparations, right?
No, they're not.
And what they're attaching their argument to. Hold on.
Okay. You're framing
it.
Let him finish his point.
The argument is that Ghana in 2026 is asking for reparations, and they're attaching it to the transatlantic slave trade. Now, an argument can very well be made that they were wrong. But if you're using all the crimes of the transatlantic slave trade, which have to do with Black America, you have to bring Black America in on any reparations you will be receiving.
No.
If you do that, I'm willing to support
We don't have to do that, but we're doing that because we got African Americans.
Well, if you don't have to do that, you're not going to give Black Americans support.
Hold on. You have to because no, listen. I'll stop it right after this. Look. I'm on the website. It says activists have said reparations should go beyond direct financial payments to also include developmental aid for countries. The required amount for compensation will be decided through a negotiated settlement that will benefit the masses, said Nkechi Taapa, director of U.S.-based reparation education project. This is from the Accra conference that you was talking about. So they saying
we've got to work together.
There you go.
We've got to work together.
You have to be an African American.
Wait, hold on.
I can't hear nobody. Jide, go ahead, and I got to pass to Gustavo because Gustavo been.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, let me make everything simple for you guys. I'm not blaming Ghana. What I'm saying is Ghana is overstepping beyond initiatives that is not being done the right way. They are overstepping their boundary in trying to make reparations. They are overstepping it because they're not doing it the right way. Because it seems like they're portraying it like it's only them that are the victim of the slave trade. So let me use an example.
What?
If you look at
they're making the fight.
Man, let them talk.
Let me talk. The point I'm making is you can see an average Black American. It doesn't even have to be a Black American. It can be a Brazilian, an Afro-Brazilian. And they will do their ancestry. And they may not even have up to even 1% of Ghanaian ancestry. They may have Nigerian ancestry, Congolese ancestry, Beninese ancestry. So the point I'm making is that those countries too were affected. So this is a very sensitive topic for Ghana to just say, oh, we will not need reparations. Just us, we need reparations. No, it has to be that it has to be just not just them, but the entire victims of the slave trade, because
that's what they're doing. That's what Ghana is doing. Who said they're isolating themselves? They're not. They were selected.
Bro. No, but y'all not listening to African Americans. What we're saying is, if they're asking for reparations on our behalf, they have the power to screw us out of them once they get it.
They're not doing it. Listen,
That's not even what it is, though.
Ghana shouldn't be at the forefront of this.
But based on what the brother read, okay, listen to this, y'all.
Because understand, for Black Americans, whether it's Nigeria, whether it's Ghana, we don't care who's asking for the reparations. The question is, are you willing to bring us in?
Willie, Ghana has not made specific monetary demands with an exact figure for reparations. Instead, Ghana is championing a broader UN resolution and framework for reparatory justice.
Hold on. Let him read. Wait, let him read the resolution.
Ghana's current United Nations resolution, President John Mahama, UN General Assembly this month, that seeks to formally recognize the transatlantic slave trade.
Wait, can the brother read the UN resolution, please?
Listen, it's a broader, they're not asking for money. They're asking based on Ghana's reparation effort. However, I need to clarify as the most important point. Ghana has not made a specific monetary demand with an exact figure for reparations. Instead, Ghana is championing a broader United Nations resolution that I talked about, started in Durban, South Africa in 2001. Resolution and framework for reparatory justice. Ghana's current United Nations resolution, March 2026, formally recognizes the transatlantic slave trade. Bullet point. Establishes the legal and moral foundation for reparations. Another bullet point. Create a framework for restitution, compensation, and reparatory justice for the transatlantic slave trade, colonialism, and apartheid. Ghana's 2023 Accra Reparations Conference. So let me say this. That is what we were talking about. It's a broader position that they're taking. They're not asking for money. They're not going to be asking for money on our behalf.
Okay.
Yes. Are we clear?
Can I say one
My
thing?
brother, what he doesn't understand is he's trying to make a Nigerian argument.
I gotta pass the mic to Gustav. Then we gotta close that. Go, Gustav.
All right, thank you, Dynas. I've been listening to you guys for 2 hours, man. And I don't want nobody to interrupt me, okay? I got a few points I got to make. All right, first of all, I want to thank Ghana for opening this door. Y'all been fighting for reparations in America, and it hadn't worked, okay? Tariq Nasheed hadn't even fighting with the tethers, okay? It's time for Ghana to work at it from the other angle. Y'all should be happy about this and stop fighting with this shit, okay? We need to get behind Ghana, everybody, okay? It opens the door for everybody to get it. And the Nigerian brother is talking about Ghana, this guy. What the fuck has Nigeria done? The giant of Africa, Tinubu, is over there doing shit. Y'all should go to the president to fucking get behind this shit. Shut the fuck up. Don't talk. I'm talking, okay? I'm talking. Listen to me. All right? Ghana has opened it. Hey, shut up and listen to me, man. Shut up! I didn't talk when you were talking. Shut up and listen to me. Shut the fuck up and listen to me. Y'all have done nothing for Pan-Africanism.
Yeah. Don't interrupt.
Y'all have done nothing for Pan-Africanism. Okay, Ghana is doing the work. Okay, it doesn't matter. We've been. I get it. We've been fighting. Well, it doesn't matter what it means. The door's been open. It doesn't matter what it means. It starts with a conversation. It's been open. You have not done anything. Somebody else is doing something. You get behind it. Okay. Exactly. So it don't matter what it is, whatever it is. Listen. No matter what it is, they're building a foundation.
Hold on. Let him finish. The host is talking. Guys, don't interrupt him at all. Don't interrupt him. Don't interrupt him at all.
I didn't insult you. I just said keep quiet and get behind it. I didn't insult you. I didn't insult your character, bro. How was that an insult?
Let him talk. I gotta remove you for a minute, man. I'll bring you back when he's done. Go ahead, Gustav.
Go on. All right, thank you, Dynas. I'm just saying that we should all just get behind Ghana, okay? We've been fighting for it in America. We've had all these studies. It hasn't gone anywhere. Tariq Nasheed has been fighting with the tethers. It hasn't gone anywhere. Now Ghana's fighting for it from a different angle, okay? Now, I get a lot of people's reservations about their motivations and everything. but they're opening the doors. They're building a foundation. Okay, they even got. I love that the brother read the resolution. It even has South Africa apartheid in there, which means it's a broad answer to reparations. So it's a great topic by Dynas for bringing this over, and we're all enjoying this and going back and forth and everything. But we need to stop hating on Ghana. We should just get behind it, however it falls. We're going to be able to find pieces in there. Somebody said we should sue Ghana. Hell yeah, sue them. They got, I mean, Tariq Nasheed has no power. Yvette Cornell has no power. The dudes in California have no power. Ghana is a sovereign country. They have the number one producer of gold and cocoa and Ivory Coast. So they actually have some weight behind them. So when they say, hey, we need reparations, let's get behind them. Just like the Jews did with Israel. They have.
You got cut off.
Yeah, his phone.
You talk about Ghana got power. Ghana can't even keep the power on their country.
No, that was well
most
said.
African Americans living on the continent in Ghana.
It's coming from a different angle. I mean, what Shah read earlier changed the whole concept of the conversation. But okay,
right. All right, guys. Hey, guys, we gotta. Christopher, you done? Christopher?
Oh, just one more time before we close out. Ghana has the most African Americans living on the continent. 10,000 plus registered African Black Americans living on the continent. Ghana did not just do this out of the vacuum. They petitioned the government. They have backing. There's African Americans on the ground that are pushing for this. Okay, they're working at it from a different angle. You stop this infighting. Tariq Nasheed ain't done shit. Yvette Cornell ain't done. The dudes in California ain't done shit. It's time for a sovereign nation to handle this, and let's get behind us and see where the pieces fall. I'm done. Thank you, Dynas.
And now Dynas gonna end the show. Dynas is an agent.
I'll let G-Day respond and we close it out. Go ahead, G-Day.
Yeah, I just came in. I didn't come from the start. What I was listening carefully, and my interpretation seemed like the argument was Ghana is asking for reparation for just themselves alone, and they're not looking at the overarching dynamic of the transatlantic slave trade. And that was where my argument came from. And clearly someone replied and said, oh, that's not actually what we're talking about. We're talking about the UN resolution and how they're trying to tie it with apartheid and the colonial legacy of the West, and how we need reparations as a collective. And I said that changes the conversation. I understood that. That's not a problem. But for someone to come and insult me and say, oh, because Tinubu is corrupt, is bad, how does that have to do with me?
It's not an insult, bro.
It's very disrespectful, right? Because I can also say that the Americans should not speak because of what they're doing in Iran and the genocide in Gaza. It does not make sense, right? Like, can you guys see how I feel about it, right? I mean,
two things can be true at once, bro. Two things can be true.
But you cannot insult me because of the Nigerian government or some criminal Nigerians are stupid. It's not my business. Like, how does that have to do with me? That's insulting. That was why I had to respond that way.
I get that.
It changes the conversation. Thank you.
I get that.
It wasn't about you. It's about African Americans, bro.
Yeah, it wasn't about you. It wasn't even about Nigeria. It wasn't.
Yeah, that's the trouble when people shout over each other. I mean, the whole concept of the conversation could be misunderstood. So
the argument became. The argument became from.
Wait, I haven't spoken a lot. I'd like to think.
Real quick though, the argument became from other African brothers that it was problematic that Ghana was pushing for reparations. That was where it kind of went left between the Nigerians and the Ghanaians. What I'm saying is, a Black African American, I don't have nothing to do with y'all internal beefs. I can respect if Ghana is trying to work towards something. The question is, how do we work together? That's the question.
As long as it's not financial incentive, on behalf of the Black Americans or the Black diaspora, I agree. 1 second, I'm going to land. As long as it's not financial incentive for Ghana to benefit in, the sweat of the African Americans and the Caribbean in the diaspora, I'm fine with that. If they're making a legal case, I'm fine with that. As long as it's not financial incentive. I'm out. Thank you very much, Dynas.
I'm 100% with you.
At time moralist, we got to close out. Go ahead, time moralist.
Close it out. Anyways, first of all, thank you, Shah, for actually reading it, because often the problem comes when people don't actually read things and they just assume a lot of things. Because again, that's what I was trying to say, that what Ghana's proposing was a resolution about the transatlantic trade, apartheid and everything. They propose a resolution that has nothing to do about how the payments, who should get the payment and things like that. They were bringing it up so to make sure the conversation doesn't die out and it actually bring that to the international order. But what African Americans or Caribbeans can ask for will have to first make sure that conversation doesn't die. For example, I actually wanted to ask a question, but I think that it's going to take too long. So I'm just going to say it, is that when it comes to what African Americans can get, it has to be a conversation that happens internally. But that will have to happen with, like, the only person I can think of that actually makes a good argument is a person called Dr. Claude Anderson. But he's not the one who's usually having the conversation. That's just one person out of many. You want to involve economists, you want to involve historians. Those are the people who can actually make those kind of good arguments. But that's going to be up to the African Americans who actually want, or Black Americans or FBA. I don't know how you.
Well said. Well said.
That's up to those people. That's up to those people to have that conversation about what, because there's the transatlantic slave trade, then there's the slavery, the chattel slavery, then there's for example, the Jim Crow, also the massacres like Seneca Park. Those are conversations you can't really have with Africans. Those are conversations you gotta have with the United States government. Those are not tied to Ghana, but that doesn't mean they don't deserve to have a conversation.
What that shit you said about Ghana?
There was no Seneca Park, bro.
What the shit you said about Ghana can't keep the power on you,
Hold on, real quick. If you look at any,
let me try. I never said anything about power keeping up power. That's not me. That you can figure out who that person is. My point is that this conversation is completely. It completely went left because people weren't willing to actually listen to the argument, actually reading their resolution. Because if we actually the conversation would have gone further ahead and actually made more progress. So next time, hopefully, we can just first get the facts straight and agree on what actually is being said. Because I think
that was well said.
That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family. Dynasty Research.
Hey, yo, Dynasty is an agent. Why you gonna close?